should be fired? Who should be fired at X96?
You fired me on Christmas Eve, okay? So you know what? Whatever I say, I hope your wife is watching this.
Why did you never take payola? Oh, did you take payola? Were you fired from Mega? And nothing but the truth.
Always, so help me God.
Turn off the music. Prende tu voz. Esto es Acapella, the podcast, hosted by DJ Frikiao and friends. Acapella.
Welcome back to another episode. Thank you for everybody who's been subscribing. Please do us a favor and subscribe to this channel because we're still growing it and developing it and trying to maintain a algorithm flow here. So do us a favor and subscribe to this channel. And we really appreciate that. My next guest is someone who is considered by all intents and purposes a legend. He is someone whose polarizing voice, personality, and just raw help create, shape, influence New York City Latin radio culture, nightclub culture, DJ culture. He is someone who many of us respect, many of us, including myself, was very much influenced by, and a person that I am very proud and privileged to call a friend. Without spending too much time on this intro and this lamboneria that I'm doing, I want to give a round of applause to my friend, Johnny Famolari. We don't have a crowd, but we're gonna rock out.
I'm scared to say something because I know I'm gonna mess it up after that beautiful intro. Anything that comes out of my mouth is just gonna go down.
Well, you know what, dude?
It's just gonna go down. That was beautiful, by the way. Did you practice that? Or
I didn't. It was off the cuff, honestly. I have my notes here. I have notes that I want to ask you, and I want things that, but yeah, that was pretty much off the cuff, and it's something that you already knew. It's something that
I appreciate that.
I've always given you your flowers.
I think
this opportunity to us sit down and have a nice conversation, not over Zoom, not over our live. It's kind of the tu a tu. Don't hold back. Be honest. Be yourself.
Have I ever?
Yes. Be yourself.
That's my biggest problem.
Yeah.
Listen, it takes one slap to get me talking and 10 slaps to shut me up.
Yeah. So we're gonna just have a conversation, flow naturally.
You want. I'm good.
Questions.
Everything's on the table.
Everything's on the table.
Whatever you want to ask me, I'm going to tell you the truth and
nothing but the truth.
Always. So help me God.
All right. Anybody who's watching this interview and this conversation, I don't even think it's an interview, it's more a conversation among friends. Anybody who's watching this already knows you, right? And most people who don't know you have heard of you, right? Even downstairs when you came in, the lady knew who you were, right? Because your name is synonymous with New York City and radio and nightlife. And so your name actually is a very recognizable name.
But it's different. And that's something that, I'll get that a lot. They'll be like, I've heard your name somewhere before because it's not a common name. If my name was John Hernandez or Johnny Hernandez, there's a million of them. There's not many Johnny Famolaris, especially, here in New York, so it stands out. And when you've heard it, they ask me, did you make that name up? Was that something that you came up with?
Give me a back, walk me through.
That's my last name.
Okay, so how did that last name, because what is your background? What is your ethnic background?
Well, my mother's Cuban.
Okay.
Came from, Havana in the 60s. My father was physically born in Haiti. But his father, my grandfather, was stationed in Haiti. He was in the Marines, so he was stationed in Haiti back with the Armistice games and stuff like that. He met my grandmother. So my father was physically born in Haiti. But the last name is Sicilian, goes back to, to Italy. And I just got lucky. They always tell me, is that your name? You made it up. That's a great name. I said, no, I wasn't that smart to make up a name. I didn't have a cool DJ name.
Yeah.
So that's my actual name. That's what it says on my birth certificate. That's what my mother wrote on my underwear. That's what I have on the back of my coat in case I get lost. That's my last name.
All right, cool. When did you decide you wanted to become a DJ? When was that moment for you? Okay.
It happened by accident. Everything happens, but for me, as far as that wasn't something that I set out to do. If you, let's say a lot of the DJs that are now, they maybe at 15, 16 wanted to become a DJ, so they practiced, this happened out of left field. This happened while I was working, doing production over at SKQ or at SBS when it was KQ 97.9. I wanted to do something different.
And how did you get that job? How did you get the production job?
I was working at a studio. I used to do a lot of engineering. I started doing engineering at a studio. They told me, listen, they need somebody to go over to SBS to do commercials, to produce commercials. Because the guy that was doing the commercials, he used to also work at the studio where I was at, but he would fall asleep because a lot of the sessions were overnights. So they needed somebody to go work during the day, produce commercials, $10 an hour. That was what they were offering. It was offered, 2 people had recommended me for the job. I went there. I said, you know what? I'm working the overnights. I was doing a Beatnuts album. I was doing a lot of different stuff like that. I said, you know what? Let me go. And
Wait, you can't just skip over the Beatnuts album, dude.
yeah, I got lucky.
How are you going to skip over the Beatnuts album?
And
Just
those are my friends.
casually,
Shout
yo,
out
yeah, work on the
to
Beatnuts album.
Juju,
Like, dude, come on,
shout out to
bro.
Psycho Les. Shout out to Vic. Those guys.
So you worked on the Beatnuts album?
On their first album. I helped them record a lot of it. They mixed down the first track. I was blessed like that because these guys gave me an opportunity. I will always thank them. Now I'm working in the studio. I had gotten that job through my mother, my children's cousin, who was running the studio, Variety Recording Studio, where all the major Latin artists recorded. Now I was answering the phone. My arm is in a sling. I had broken my arm in the gym. It's a whole big thing. So at one point, the Beatnuts wanted to record their album. They had their budget.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working at the studio. I was doing assisting and stuff like that. I told them, listen, we'll get it to you for X amount of money. They came over, they started recording, and we learned as we went along. I was not a full recording engineer. Those guys, and it was a lot of jokes going on, and it was a good time, but we learned together. They learned how to use their equipment. I, at the same time, learned how to use the studio equipment. And we tracked the first Beatnuts album. My credits are on there. John Famolari, they gave me the credits, and I thank them to this day. They actually gave me my first real opportunity to record and do something in the business. Naughty gave me my first paycheck. I sang on a song for Naughty. I don't want to talk about that because that's embarrassing when they play that song.
Okay, Naughty being Naughty Couto, who's your partner on the radio. So shout out to Naughty Couto, by the way, who couldn't make it today, but we're going to do another feature conversation where we're going to bring Naughty in, and we're going to also talk to him as well. So now you ended up in Mega or in SBS at the time.
It was SBS. It was KQ 97. Well, it was really FM 98.
Okay, FM 98. I remember that.
Yeah.
What year was that? What year was that?
That was in 92.
In 92. Okay, so you ended up there doing production, commercials.
Doing
more
commercials.
Behind. You were not on air yet.
Not a true story. I walk in to talk to Tony Campos, was running the
PD.
Well, he was the PD at the time. If I'm not mistaken, it was a Friday. So I walk in on a Friday, 9 o'clock in the morning. I get in. Tony was there. I sat with Tony. We talked for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. He said, okay, can you start right now? I said, well, can I start right now? I've never done commercials in my life.
There's a meme on social media like that. I'm ready right now. Let's go.
I wasn't ready. So I said, you know what? Give me a few minutes. Let me walk in. Let me check out the equipment. Let me see what you guys have. And after I check out what you guys have, I'll come back at 11 and we'll start. He said, not a problem. You got it. I left. I checked out the equipment. I went out, had some coffee. I sat there and I was thinking, well, this is crazy. I've never done production. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into when it comes to this commercial. Yeah. And for radio, I didn't know. They had a cart machine. Back then, everything was on an 8-track as far as the commercials went. So they had this machine that would erase the cards. They had all kinds of stuff. I didn't know any of this stuff. I had no idea. So I go in and I sit down. When I walk in, Polito Vega, may he rest in peace, which is definitely the king. You have to give him his respect, and hopefully one day he'll get into the Radio Hall of Fame. I walk in, Polito's in his underwear.
I'm just visualizing it. He's in the.
You don't want to visualize that.
In the cabina. He's in the booth.
He's in the booth was actually the studio. It's like this room. Okay, you had the console right over here. You had the mic was right there. It was just one room. They had separate booths also and separate rooms, but this was one that they wanted to record because back then, if there was a club that needed to be done, let's say if it was Club Las Vegas, they would record Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, the commercials for all of them, or one day, 4 different commercials because they would rotate, every day a new spot. So when I walk in, Polito was the man at that point. He would record for all the places. He's in his underwear. And I go in, I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Hamilton, that's a promoter, that back then he was Tony's assistant, walks in holding the wall up.
Is
Everybody
Hamilton
in,
Caucayo?
yeah,
Okay.
everybody in there was drunk at 11 o'clock in the morning. Everybody in there, it was like a party. I was like, you know what? I think I could work here because this was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I walk in and so Politos is there. They asked, Chubby Jimenez walks in. He used to have Palm Tree, and I think it was called Odyssey. I forgot, on Queens Boulevard. That's when the memory's going, when I start forgetting stuff, because I'm usually pretty good with these things.
Okay.
That's heavy drugs when you're young. So then Chubby walks in. They tell Polito what he has to record. Now, what they would do is record a commercial in pieces, little blocks. Right now, they would say, okay, play this song. So they would play whatever, Raulín Rosendo, whatever, whoever the artist was, and Polito would say, okay, este sábado, this and that, whatever, Raulín Rosendo, and then it would stop. Now I had to take that piece, edit it with the next piece, find the part of where Raulín Rosendo, is singing, whatever song it was, and then Polito will record on top of it. It was a long process where each commercial was taking like an hour
To
do. Now I have 20 spots to do. Now I got to go to work over at the studio. This was not going to work for me.
Yeah, and this is all manual. This is not
all
computer.
Manual, and it's by hand. Everything on a quarter inch, and it's by hand. I said, this is not going to work. They had a 8-track, half-inch machine just sitting there. I said, the idea clicked in my head. I said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to build this like a song. I told the engineer, his name was Bobby at the time. I said, Bobby, do you have the alignment tapes for this? He said, yeah. I said, clean me the heads, get me this machine ready. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I said, I didn't know anybody's name. Polito had an assistant called Joe Simpson. I told Polito, I said, Polito, you're going to do me a favor. I'm just going to record your vocals. I just want you to say everything that you got to say. I need you, Joe, to get all the music, because I didn't know what the hell a mayimbe was. I had no idea. I didn't know any of these songs. I didn't know anything. I had just known what I had worked over at Variety, certain songs, certain artists, but it wasn't that
Latin music was not in your card.
It was, but it wasn't.
It was not really in your long-term vision.
But I couldn't tell you Oscar de Leon, what he sang. I couldn't tell you a lot of things. I knew Tito Nieves. I knew El Canario. I knew them all because they were local artists that were recorded in New York. I knew Ray Barreto. You met all that. I got to hang out with Tito Puente. So these artists, my first day on the job, Celia Cruz was recording a Budweiser commercial. Now, my mom is Cuban. We had Celia Cruz albums at home. So for me, it was like,
same,
I called her right away,
Kimbara was one of my mom's favorite records.
I called my mom. I was like, Ma, Celia Cruz is here. All of a sudden, Celia Cruz's earring was missing. She had taken it off to record with the headphones. I'm like, oh, shit, they're going to think the new Spanish guy from Jackson Heights stole the damn earring. Let's find that earring quick. Thank God we found the earring. And, that was one of my things. But it was for me, I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
So I told Polito, record the vocal. I just want you to record all the words. And then you can leave. Polito was like, all I got to do is record all the words? I said, yeah, that's all you got to do. He said, this guy's not going anywhere. He recorded all his vocal. I told Joe Simpson, get me all the music. They would give me all the music, whether it be on a cart, whether it be on a CD. I'm going to build it real quick. So I started building a commercial, which took them an hour and change. It was like an hour and change for each commercial. I could do it now in 10 to 15 minutes. And I could fly it underneath the music so it overlaps. So you don't hear that abrupt hand edit. So it was a smooth transition. Yeah. And that's how they started, recording the commercials to how they record to this day. They're just doing it now with either Pro Tools or whatever,
all right.
thing they're doing it on.
So with that being said,
It was a long-ass story, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. But this is a good foundational conversation because it'll provide the stage to where do you see now today that same process that you did. How does that make you feel that now that can be done in probably 10, 15 minutes?
100% makes me feel great. Well, listen, when I had to edit by hand somebody's vocals, I had to put it all together, take an S off, maybe put an S on. Now when I do it digitally, I can see the wave, I can see his stuff. It's a piece of cake.
Yeah.
What we had to go through back when, but I think that we learned the foundation.
Right.
Which they don't have.
Yeah, but it's still the same process creatively.
Same process.
Creatively, it's still the same process. Those
15,000 times quicker.
Yeah, it's almost like and it's what I tell people about, like, say, AI and technology. Back then, the manual process is you're using a screwdriver, right? Now, today, you got a power drill.
That's right.
Or you got a power tool.
That's right.
Right, or power saw, whatever it is. you now have tools to help you create the job fast, do the job faster. So a person like yourself, you still have the foundation and you understand the process, because
Right.
I don't think the process changed much, right? It changed, the tools we use changed,
Right.
right?
It's made it a lot quicker,
Yeah.
a lot easier, and with AI, it could do it all for you.
Right, exactly.
Listen, I don't need, Polito, may he rest in peace. I can get AI to produce
Clone his voice, correct.
To do his voice.
Correct.
Whatever it is, you can get it done, which is good. But I still think it needs that human heart, that human feel.
I still
There's a
feel,
human feel
I
to
mean,
it.
the AI conversation, like, we were telling you off camera, is I have different opinions about AI. I have different feelings about AI right now because we're starting to get to know it and where it's going. So I have different mixed feelings about it. But I do think creatively, AI has a long way to go, right? I think
100%.
AI,
Listen, ask Chad GPT to tell you a joke.
yeah.
Not good.
Yeah.
Not good. But you
Yeah.
tell some real comedian to
Right.
tell
So
you a joke.
creatively speaking, yeah, because I do a lot of video
There's
editing,
a human
and creatively
feel to it
speaking
still.
is, you create a prompt to do certain things and have it do certain things for you. But creatively speaking, AI, it still lacks personality. It still lacks just that human factor where it can't detect sarcasm. Like, and through this conversation, there's going to be a lot of that, right? So I carefully had to go and slice and find those moments where AI is going to fall short. Anyway, AI for later, AI for everybody.
It's the future, whether you like it or not.
Exactly, it's coming whether we're
Whether
ready
you
or
like
not.
it or not, there's no stopping it.
So, all right, so now you're in production. Fast forward to me, your first day on the air, or how did you get behind the microphone? What led to you being on the air?
I went to Jorge Mier, good friend of mine.
Jorge Mier was the PD.
The PD at the time, and I said, George, how come they don't do a mix show? Because I grew up with mix shows. I grew up with Mr. Magic. I grew up with Molly Mall. I grew up with all that stuff, growing up. So we grew up with Paco's Super Mix, where they had the Animal, Jelly Bean, they had everybody, the Latin Rascals. So I grew up listening to mix shows, and I would record all the mix shows. This way I could play the tapes back at a party. So now I went to George. I said, doesn't anybody mix this Spanish crap? To me, and I use the word crap, I don't mean to disrespect it. That's just the way I speak. Okay?
Yeah.
So I was like, did anybody mix this Spanish stuff, this Spanish music? And he was like, well, I got this guy that he lives in Orlando. Let's fly him up. I said, because you could do a mix show. If you're going to compete on radio, all English channels have mix shows, do one in Spanish. So he flies this guy in. We go to the studio because he wanted to do a studio. I'm in my mind first thinking DJ stuff. Does anybody DJ this stuff? So they bring him in. We go into the studio. We work 2 days to do 20-minute mix because his idol was Baron Lopez, who's a phenomenal individual
Salute to Baron
person.
Lopez.
You gotta give him his
respect.
respect.
We're going to bring Baron. Yeah.
So then Baron, he was his idol. He brought Baron CD. This is why I always joke with Baron. He brought a Baron CD. Baron CD from go to transition from record to record. He had like a cowbell, tiki tong, tiki tong, ting tong,
Which
tiki
he
tong.
still uses that today.
100%.
And some of the mix,
that's his trademark.
Yeah.
That's like me with the laugh.
That's his signature.
I got to throw the laugh. I got to throw the siren.
Yeah.
That was his signature. So the guy wanted to take that little tiki tong. I always remember that. And use that and then build this. And so I ended up doing the work. We rented a Technics CD player. I ended up doing half the work because I'm playing hand claps off the M1 for him. I'm doing all kinds of stuff with the equipment that was there. And I was like, this is not what I'm talking about. It was a production, which I still have. I have that actual tape. Okay, I found it. So I have the 1/2-inch mix down tape of the first mix that was ever played on Spanish music, Spanish radio, when it was Kaku 97.9, Club Kaku. I have that tape. So we go and we make that thing, and the guy finished that 20 minutes, and he left. He went back to Orlando because he had to go back to Orlando. I said, George, that's not what I meant. I meant, does anybody DJ this stuff? Yeah, well, we have Cintronel, we have this with that. But I said, what about DJ? He said, I'm not to this. I said, you know what, George? Don't bring him back.
Okay, so
I'm going to figure it out.
Quick question. So when you're asking George about DJ, what was your DJ experience at that point? Like,
None.
were you in clubs and
Nothing. Never DJed a day in my life.
you're literally leaning into becoming a DJ
100%.
in real time as you're asking George to let you DJ
100%.
on the air. Jesus
because
Christ.
I said, if I built this guy's track, if I built that mix, because it was basically him telling me what he wanted, and I put it together, okay, because I understood clave.
It was the production.
Right, I understood. I could do that. I could do that easy. Now I'm going to learn the music, and I'm going to learn how to DJ it. I'm going to figure it out.
Right.
So I was like,
so it was on the job training for you.
On the job. And George gave me that opportunity. I'll always thank George for that.
Yeah.
George was the first one that gave me that chance.
Yeah.
Now the pressure's on. We got the first show off because it was called Club Kaku, where the station would take the party to your house. You would call in or you would write in. Boy from Bonao would go to your house on, I think it was on a Friday. If we first started on a Friday. He would go to your house on a Friday with food that they would get from wherever they could get it. And they would put the music on from the station and they would take that party to your house. Boy from Bonao, may he rest in peace. Big mentor to me, one of my brothers, that I learned so much from. His charisma was off the charts. So you can imagine him walking into your house at 400 pounds, because he was a big boy back then.
Yeah.
Him walking in with his voice, with his charisma. They're bringing the music from the station. They would put it on. Nino Guida, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was driving the thing, or was Don Angel. I'm not too sure. Goody.
Yeah. Yep.
So they would bring the party to your house. They did it the first week. Now there's no more money to do it for the second week.
Okay.
So they couldn't do the party in your house. But the mix thing that already had gone on, because Cookie ended up sending a mix or two from Orlando. That was the gentleman that was doing it. I made a mix that I built for that week after he had left. I made a short
When you say
mix.
you made a mix, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean?
Because we needed to fill in 2
somebody who might be
hours.
watching that might not.
Right, we needed to fill in 2 hours. So he sent another salsa and another merengue. I made a merengue. Because remember now, merengue is easier. But I didn't know any of the songs. So I would ask these guys, hey, what songs are good on this CD right here? Or give me a couple of hits. So they would give me the hits. Now I got to figure out tempo so that everything can match. So I would use the drum machine, the SP1200, to do the beats, to go from record to record. But it was more of a production. It was more of edits and things like that. So now the next week, or when that was over, on Monday, I told George, don't bring him back. Don't bring him back. I got this. Let me do it.
Don't bring back.
Cookie, don't ask him for the mixes. Don't do it. I'll take care of it. I got this. And he said, you sure? And he trusted me. George trusted me. He gave me the opportunity. He got me from the $10 that I started making to making $15 an hour doing production. Plus, I'm still working in the studios. Plus, I'm still doing, whatever else that I had to do to hustle. And he said, do it. And I said, I got it. So I would spend every night after doing all the commercials, figuring out the music, trying to see how I can match tempos, using the equipment that was there, whether it have been the drum machine, whether it have been something that I could loop up, a Rev 5 or a Rev 7 that I could, those were machines that you would use to be able to make loops. So I would make the loop on that. Because remember, technology was not what it is today. As far as CD players, there was no CDJs, there was no controllers. I did it on a Pioneer, Denon 4000. I'll show you the picture.
Yeah.
The picture is crazy when you see it, because you had to load it, and then you only had one box that you had to switch from CD1 to CD2. So I had to not only figure out how to do that, plus I'm trying to take music off of carts, I'm trying to take music off of quarter inch. So I learned with all this equipment that I could walk into anywhere. I didn't care what that type of equipment it was. I was going to figure it out.
Yeah, so the creative, you had, so because these mixes were pre-recorded, correct?
Right at the beginning, yes.
Yes.
Everything that we tried to do was pre-recorded. I started winging it later, but this is from now, this was in 93, if I'm not mistaken, September 93, because I think Louis started in August 93. This is September 93. I get on and they gave me my first chance. It was a little much for me, because now I'm doing commercials for all the stations that they were there. It was, at that point, they hadn't had Amor yet. It was just Mega and Kaku.
Okay.
Well, it was Kaku and Super Kaku. We changed it to Mega after.
Okay.
But now I'm doing all the production. I need help. I wanted to implement English music into the mix thing, because I figure, okay, I want to conquer the second generation Hispanic like myself. My own friends didn't listen to me because that Spanish stuff was still corny. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to bring in that English, that little second generation feel. So I started putting the hip hop on top of the loops of the salsa stuff. I started doing merengue with a little bit of house, whatever it
The
was that I
instrumental
could,
bed, a lot of the
right,
instrumental salsa stuff.
whatever I could think of, any type of creation. Because now it's the creative studio. I just wanted my own friends to listen to me.
Yeah.
They thought I was corny because it was just music. We weren't talking yet. So I called a bunch of DJs that I know. One of them was a good friend of mine, Redline Randy, and I still have all these guys' mixes, which is crazy. I'm hoping that they all die so I can sell them and things like that. But they're gonna outlive me, unfortunately. So
Redline Randy.
Redline Randy, I've got a bunch of. I even have Frankie Cutlass when his mixes. I have the Latin Rascals. I have Carlos Berrios. I have so many DJs. I call Naughty because Naughty and I used to work together
At the studio, right.
in the studio. So I said, Naughty, I got this thing. I know you used to DJ before. Make a mix for me. And Naughty was like, yeah, you know what? I'll kind of, they're dusty, the turntables. I'll dust it off and do it. I said, just make it. So he made it for me. It was in November. I'll never forget it. I still have that also. He made a mix for me where he took a drum beat that he made on the SP1200 and he put Dove's Cry from Prince on top of it. And he started the mix off with that. And I was like, damn, this is good. This is the yin to my yang. This is what I like. He's doing what I like. This got me captivated. Now I'm, like I said, second generation Hispanic who listened to, Spanish music was the stuff they played at the beginning of the party, at the end of the party, but who had gone and listened to all the hip hop, all the stuff. And I love that stuff. I love that combination thing. Now Naughty's doing that.
Right. So now he's not doing. Is Naughty now, because you're on air at this point, right?
No, yeah, but just mixing.
Just mixing. You're not talking on air.
Not a lick.
You just
Didn't say a word.
Right. Because I have a vague memory of listening to you and Naughty, right? And it was just the drop with the Jen Famolari, Naughty Cotto, right? I never heard you speak yet.
Right. We didn't get a chance to speak.
But there was a sweeper or like some sort of drop or liner or whatever it was, right? So I kept hearing this in this deep voice, like Johnny Famolari,
Naughty Cotto, right?
Martinez. So that was my first time. I'm like, who are these guys? Like, what's going on? It was the beginning of a revolution that most of us today still understand, right? And most people from that era understand, even up until the younger DJs now, right? So Naughty was not on the air yet. He's kind of your external guy, or your resource to
help me out with the English music. I told him, Naughty, can you do this for me every week? I'll pay you.
Okay.
I told him, I'll pay you. I got you.
But no Latin music. It was more the
English. I want English. I want. At that point, it was just, I think if I'm not mistaken, it was just Fridays. So I said, you know what? Give me, 2 segments. Just give me 2 segments, 15 or 20-minute segments to help me out because I'm building all this Spanish stuff. This is 93, the end of 93. I had just only been on the air for like 2 months. So I'm just building a catalog as far as just in case I can't make something, I would have an extra mix.
Yeah, you're building kind of your database of music or mixes and things.
And I'm learning all this music because I don't know any of these artists. I'm just learning the artists. I'm learning everything. So, like I would take a CD of, let's just say it was El Canario. I'll just give you for instance. It says the greatest hits of El Canario. I would take it to Janeiro or one of these guys, be like, yo, well, one of these records big? And they'd be like, they're all big. It's the greatest hits. They're all hits. Play anyone you want. But now I had to figure out which ones would suit me. And when I tell you which ones would suit me, I needed to have it be hip. I wanted it to have that, if I'm bopping my head to it, it's good.
Yeah.
That was my
get that
feeling.
That urban feel.
Right. So then that's why Llorarás was really good for me. That's why certain records, if it got me bopping, shaking sideways, I was like, this is the jam right here. This is the jam.
All right.
That's how I would, Periquito Ping Ping, when I heard that, I was like, yo, that had that swag to it.
Yeah. I mean,
so then.
One thing that you mentioned is, you mentioned Boy from Bonao, and you mentioned also Cintronelli. What's the timeline of Cintronelli coming on with Tommy Xiao series? And you're
92?
Was it around the same time you got on radio?
Yeah.
Okay.
93.
Okay.
93. For me, Cintronelli now.
That's where I'm going, right? So, so did Jesus Cintronelli, Tommy Xiao, influence you in your style
100%.
of mixing or how, right? Because he came with a new angle, right? I mean, a lot of the things Cintronelli did in those series, in the Tommy Xiao series, everyone try to mimic, right? It's a lot of manual stuff, a lot of stuff that he was doing.
Or hand,
so
or hand.
were you influenced by him?
Of course, because I'm listening to, remember now, there's not much for me to be able to feed off of. Okay, this is before I went out. I'm talking about, this is when I'm still inside the studio,
right,
doing the stuff.
You still didn't have an identity in radio yet.
Right, I didn't go out yet to the clubs. I hadn't been out to the clubs.
Okay.
This is at the beginning.
But Citronelli already was putting out the mixel.
Right, so I had Citronelli, because remember, he also had a radio version that they would play on air, which was, a edited version of all the tracks, because he would take a track, remix it, then take another track, remix it, and then he would make a medley of all the songs, and then he would make radio versions of the songs. That was what Citronel did. So I would listen to his remixes, and I would like them. Did I play them inside my mixes? Yes and no, because I'm still learning.
Right.
So I'm still building my own thing. But I liked it. Baron Lopez, I had his CDs that they would bring, and that they would sell. Yeah. So the labels would bring me the stuff. So I would listen to those, and I would be like, damn, this stuff is good. So I had at least something that I could look at that gave me a level, more or less, that I wanted to surpass. They would come to me, all the guys at the station. I learned from the best in the business. I had the pleasure of working with the best personalities that Spanish radio has till today. I'm sorry, I say it. I had Polito, Paco, Boy from Bonao, Luis Jimenez. You cannot put a price tag on what I was able to learn. Janeiro Matos, Nelly Carrion.
It's like the all-star team of radio.
Yeah, these guys were all individual, and girls, individual personalities. They had their own identity. They didn't want to copy or emulate anybody. So I stole a little bit from each one, put my own personality in it, because I do have a charm and irresistible personality far beyond those of mortal men. But that's just me that thinks that. Beautiful thing. Okay, so then I put that all together, and I came out with me. So now I'm listening to Citronel, I'm listening to Baron's thing. I had Naughty now making the mixes, which, I was taking care of Naughty. He was, looking out for me. Now I said, I got to go out there, because this thing ain't working with this production stuff. So that's when I went out to the clubs. First club that I went to was Sequoia. It was Sequoia, or I'm sorry, I went to Palladium, because I think they had Gypsy Kings, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever it was. And I saw Eddie Batiste mix Periquito Ping Ping and Lo Dudo. 2 vinyls.
Together.
2 vinyls. Went from one vinyl to the other. Blended it. Perfect. I said, that's what I'm talking about.
Right. Now, do you think Eddie Batiste was influenced by you, or he was already doing, or,
no, Eddie
vice
Batiste
versa?
was already doing that.
He was already doing that.
Yeah, he was already doing it.
Okay.
Of course, I'm sure later on, once they heard me playing around with stuff, they realized they had to step their game up. And Eddie's a great guy.
Yeah.
I love Eddie. God bless him. I learned from him. I always said there's 5 guys that I learned that made the fist that made me. And that's Baron Lopez, Eddie Batiste. Now, the next one that I went to go watch, of course, Citronel. And then I went to go watch Henry Knowles.
Henry Knowles. Shout out to Henry Knowles.
In the Copacabana. When Henry, for me, it was different, because Henry was more cutter. He would blend, but not really a blender. He was more like a cutter, but his record selection was ridiculous.
It's funny. I've always said that.
Ridiculous. Like, he knew exactly what to play at the right time. I watched him for about an hour, and he doesn't even know that I was watching him. He didn't know who I was. He had no idea who I was.
Yeah.
But I'm watching him, and I'm watching him go from one record to another, and it was like perfectly on time, kept the clave going. He wasn't, mixing anything, blend here and there, but not much.
Yeah.
Because remember, the Copa had, I think, limited equipment when it came to that. I don't think they had top of the line, if I'm not mistaken. I think they had the Yuri mixer at that point. I'm not too sure.
Which is a great mixer, by the way.
Well, one of the best, for house and things like that. Hip hop is not that easy. I got big hands, so I end up slapping all the buttons before I realize that the whole thing shuts off. But that's just me.
Yeah.
So, he did the cutting thing, and I'm, from one to another, I said, shit, this guy's record selection is ridiculous. And then I reached and went to the club that I think really changed me, that made me the DJ that I am today. And I give him all the credit. I went to Club Las Vegas, and I saw DJ Eddie Cruz. DJ Eddie Cruz.
Shout out to Eddie Cruz.
Who had, big shout out to Eddie Cruz. Thank you, my brother. I give you all the respect in the world. His cabina was immaculate. Everything was so nicely cleaned up right there. I said, this is not a DJ booth. Usually DJ booths, you walk in, they got records over here, they got drinks over there. This thing was immaculate. But what he did was, with the Denon 2000, he started playing the records and going from one record. And I remember he did it with Muchacho Malo. He did it with Toño Rosario, La Gozadera, going back and forth, bringing it back in from the beginning, hip hop style, doing something and blending in the beginning of the record, bringing it back from the
live,
top,
real time.
live in front of me. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's hip hop style. That's New York style. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take everybody else's stuff and I'm going to, work with that. But that's what I'm going to master, and I'm going to take it to the next level.
Yeah, and that's important that you share that, because a lot of DJs, including myself, a lot of DJs look at you and think that you created a lot of this stuff, right? And you did. For a lot of the stuff you created a lot of sound, like the laugh, the
siren,
the siren, a lot
all
of the things that
they used to today.
I mean, it was like and then the ow, that all those sound effects that were part of your brand. Really, they were part of your identity. They were part of of who you became. But you also had outside influences, like you just mentioned Eddie Cruz, you just mentioned Eddie Batiz, Baron, all these guys. Subliminally, I guess, subconsciously, I mean, were influenced you some way to up your game. But then you
100%.
You gave it a new twist, and you
I listen. No matter what, the wheel was already invented. I just took the wheel and adapted it to
and
my
put rims
car.
on it.
Yeah, but that blinged it out a little bit, and I brought a different flavor. But the guy I think that really changed everything for me. Now this is a DJ thing. The guy that really helped me a lot, and just by saying one thing, Ricky Ricardo. Ricky Ricardo at that point was PD. He used to work with Luis Jimenez in the morning. This is before Junior Hernandez. This is before Moonshadow. He was working with
and he was a DJ or a personality?
He was a DJ who used to work back at BLS back in the day with Frankie Crocker. They brought him in to work with Louis in the morning show. Cuban, Ricky Ricardo, got much respect for you. God bless you. I hope everything's well. He gave me the opportunity that changed everything. And first of all, he told me, listen, do me a favor, because now he's PD. Jorge had left. And I give Jorge, I thank him for giving me that first opportunity, for believing in me and trusting in me. Him and Alfredo Alonso gave me a trust, and I hope I did not, do them wrong. I hope that I was able to keep it where they feel happy that they gave me a chance and I was able to succeed, and we succeeded together. It was a team. But as far as when Ricky said, do me a favor, because I would play the drop all over the place. I was just happy to hear my name on the air. And he said, no, when you do something good, because I would play it at the wrong spot. I didn't know, because now I'm not, this is not what I do.
You're learning the mechanics of radio.
Right, I'm learning. So he told me, when you do something good, that's where you put your drop. When you're playing around and you're doing that hip hop thing and you're doing this different stuff and you're looping
let it breathe.
That's where you put your stamp on it. That's where you tell them who you are. That's me doing this right here.
Yeah.
And that's when I started doing that. And then Ricky also, Naughty now, would bring me the mixes. So we would hang out in the booth, whether for whatever it is. And Naughty and I are good friends. We're good like brothers. And we get together and hopefully we could do podcasts together.
Yeah,
it's a break fest.
For sure.
It's a break fest. We're making jokes. We're doing, because he knows what, me. I know him. He could tell me whatever he wants.
Yeah, you're comfortable. Hay confianza. You're comfortable.
That's my boy. That's my brother. I'll go to war for that guy. So we're making jokes in the cabina, and Ricky walks in, and Ricky says, "You guys don't talk on the air?" Because now he just got the job, and I said, "No, we don't."
So now Naughty is
he
coming.
just came to hang out with me one day.
Okay.
He just came to hang out with me, and he goes, "You guys don't talk on the air?" I said, "No, we don't talk on the air. I just play the drops and stuff." He goes, "No. Exactly what you guys are doing, do it on the air. Just don't curse." Now, we speak Spanglish. Neither one of us are jocks. I'm not, son 50 grados en el Parque Central, aquí en Mega 97. That's not me. Never been me. And I think at that point, it was still Club Kaku. He said, do it like that. Just talk the way you talk. Talk regular. I said, you sure? He said, don't curse. I said, I got it. We opened up the mic and we just started talking. And it was, first thing that we came out with was, what's up? Because that's that's how we used to say what's up to each other was
Yeah,
what's up.
very New Yorkish,
Right.
very
It was whatever was we portrayed it on the air.
but it wasn't verde de locutor like, hey,
Temperatura
actual.
Neither one of us have. You hear the little voice that I have. Come on, man. You would think I was a 7-year-old girl if I called you on the phone.
Yeah.
But it was just different. And now we're talking regular. And people felt now, and this is why I tell the jocks and I tell you guys, be yourself. Be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else. Nobody wants to hear that fake guy that's on the air. Be yourself. Talk to people regular. People feel comfortable knowing that you're like me. He puts his shoes on the same way I do. He puts his shirt on the same way I do. He eats the same food that I do. They felt comfortable with us.
Right.
We're one of you.
Yeah.
I'm one of you. Without them, I'm nobody. You know, that was my feeling. I'm one of you guys. So we just went on the air and just started doing that. And one thing led to another. We got Fridays, we got Saturdays. Then when we changed to Mega, they gave me the 12 o'clock mix. And that just got the ball rolling. And you know, I thank God to this day. And I thank God for all the listeners, because without them, we would have never been anybody.
Okay.
But they accepted us.
Yeah.
And that was important, was that acceptance. So
Yeah.
I thanked them. And we were the only game in town.
So now that you are on at 12, it leads me to, it's a perfect setup for the next question, right? Now that you're on at 12, Friday and Saturdays, right? 12,
We go on Fridays from
12 noon or 12 midnight?
No, we're doing Friday nights.
Friday nights.
From 9 o'clock to 2 in the morning. And we're doing Saturdays from 8 o'clock to 2 in the morning. Now they give me, I'm sorry, from 9 to 10 and from 10 to 2. 10 to 2 was...
So you're on, it was all at night, no daytime yet.
Yeah, we're doing Friday nights from 10 to 2, and we're doing Saturday nights from 9 to 2 in the morning.
Okay.
Now they tell me we're changing to Mega. Let's do a 12 o'clock mix.
Noon.
Of 12 o'clock noon. Nelly Carrion is that was her shift at that point. What do you want to call it? Now we had just changed the name. I said, let's call it La Mega Mezcla del Mediodía.
Okay. Now La Mega Mezcla.
Which I created that name. That was my creation.
So that was my next question. So you created the name Mega Mezcla.
100%. Well, the name may have been there, but I'm the one that put it to radio. I don't know if that name was, someone had said it. Can't tell you that.
But you suggested it at the time when they said, what should we call it?
That was what I was going to call my show.
La Mega Mezcla.
Because we're going to have the Mega, and I'm going to be doing La Mezcla. And I said, I'm going to call it La Mega Mezcla.
Okay.
And that was it. I'm the guy that could put that name together. If someone else had said it or if they had done, I doubt it.
Yeah.
My mistake was not branding it. My mistake was not copywriting it. I wasn't expecting this to happen. It just all snowballed, and it wasn't something that I set out to do. I told you didn't want to be a DJ. That wasn't something that I grew up with. So La Mega Mezcla, the whole name, La Mega Mezcla del Mediodía, that was all created by me.
And because I think for us, and again, speaking as a fan, a listener, when there's been various transitions in radio, right? Between people, air personalities, DJs, right? So sometimes when we listen to something, or I listen to something, branding, I guess I think of the marketing person in my past life, because I'm also one in real life. But branding is something key, right? So La Mega Mezcla became synonymous with your radio show, right? Now, and I'm probably going to skip ahead, but
not a problem.
Across, I guess, town, there was a young DJ named Alex Sensation and DJ Juano, right? Who came on to Caliente? Was it Caliente?
It was Caliente.
Caliente,
that was
right?
after I left.
Univision. They came after you left. Okay.
Yeah,
it
wasn't Univision. That was HBC at that point.
They were HBC. When did Alex start? He started at HBC or he started at Univision?
That started in 98. Caliente came out in 98. We became number one in June of 98, summer of 98. The station became number one. Mega became the number one station in New York.
Yeah.
At that point, before that, it was Hot 97. It was, of course, K-Rock. And it was a little bit of a battle. Now Mega became the number one. A lot had to do with, of course, Luis Jimenez in the morning. We also, we did our part at night, Louis in the morning. Everyone that was on the air pulled together.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Spanish people in New York. We may not have had the numbers as far as the amount. The Anglo stations probably had more people, but we had the people that listened to us listen for longer periods of time. They would keep that station on from morning till night.
Okay. All right. So like I said, I probably skipped ahead with Alex because I do want to get into the Alex conversation.
Okay.
Right. And La Mega Mezcla And then you said something key now. You said after I left. So okay, so walk me through. You know, you don't have to get super detailed in the timeline, but you said you left. So were you fired from Mega
No, I left. I
on
left
your own?
Mega. I left Mega on
Why?
my own because this has to do with Raul Acosta. We ended up going to the Copa. I'm doing live broadcasts. I created the first
Raul
live
Acosta from
broadcast
Oro Solido.
from Oro Solido.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Shout out to Raul Acosta, by the way.
yeah, that's your buddy. We got to get him in. I definitely got to get him in because I told him, mess with me, Raul. I made your career. I can break it. I will do Raul Acosta the Reckoning. I will talk to 50. I will do it, Raul. I will do it. But we're doing live broadcasts. I created the first live broadcast, which is a way to create money for the station, which is a way to generate.
So you created that. Wait. So, bro, you can't even be skating past this stuff, bro. Like, okay.
It's a lot.
So, all right.
It's a lot.
Live broadcast.
Live broadcast.
Okay, so you created live
Yes, I
broadcast,
did.
the way that DJs play on the air live,
Yes, sir.
and it's airing out live to
From a
someone's
club.
radio from a club.
From a club. They did it in the Anglo market. I brought it into the Spanish market
Okay.
because it's a way to generate money. You're just as strong as the money you bring into the station. I don't care who you are. Okay?
Yeah.
Either you're going to bring them in by numbers, by ratings, or you're going to bring it in economically and what you can create, whether it be sponsorship, whether it be whatever. I said, let's take this show to the clubs. Let's go make some money. We did the first one in the Roxy, where I forgot how much we netted the station. That's how the station bought its first computer. Okay, the station had
What year
no
was
computers. That was in, I think I have it still, 90, well, it was with DLG, it had to be 96. DLG, I had Fulanito, we had the whole lineup. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 96. If I'd say, I have the recording of that too. I have some, guys don't realize, I have the treasure trove of recordings and of stuff that, thank you to my mom. I'll tell you a quick story. This is when you realize who your biggest fan is. And I love my mom. I loved her before that. I loved her even more after that, you know, no matter what. There's nothing more gratifying, I guess, than knowing that you had your biggest fan was your mom. I didn't know.
That's dope.
I was going in between stations one year, and because I left there or got thrown out a lot of times because I'll tell you how it is. I'm not scared to tell you how.
Yeah. So okay. So you left Mega because of Raul Acosta. So
well, it wasn't because of Raul Acosta.
That.
It was because we went live from the Copa.
You went live
from the Copa.
From the
and
Copa.
Glee tells me at that point, Ponte Cuatro was the hot record. Raul used to bring the girls on stage with La Tanga, and it was a whole big thing. She came down. She tells me Raul and I are sitting downstairs. They used to have the dressing room downstairs in the Copa. She walked in, and Glee and I became really good friends after that.
This is Glee, the manager of Copacabana.
Yeah, she was the Copa at that time. Before that, it was Tony Gio that I was really good friends with him. I was the only one that would go in with jeans and a hat in the Copa. He'd be like, you effing Cuban, go put some slacks on. This and that. I'd be like, yo, I'm like this, Tony. He'd be like, just get in.
Yeah.
Just get in if we get in. So we're in the Copa, live broadcast. This is my show that we had taken in all different parts, all different clubs throughout all of New York, New Jersey. We were doing all these live broadcasts.
So La Mega Mezcla, live broadcast.
Live broadcast. We did it everywhere.
And you were the first one on Latin radio to create that.
100%. $5,000 a night we were charging, more or less. So now I'm bringing into the station, if you do the math, 2 nights, $5,000 a night, Friday and Saturday, or sometimes whatever. I'm bringing close to $500,000 into the station in revenue. Okay, I'm getting paid $50,000. I was getting paid $50,000 at that point. Naughty was getting paid $20,000 at that point because before I paid Naughty out of my pocket. Now, before Alfredo left, Alfredo Alonso, he made sure that Naughty got
on record,
so I didn't have to keep paying him out of my pocket because he knew that I was paying him out of my pocket. But Naughty was my right hand. I needed him. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for Naughty. I wouldn't be. I couldn't do it alone. Impossible. He was definitely the Robin to the Batman, or me, his Robin. If I had to be Robin, I'd be Robin. We whatever it was that needed to be done. And Naughty's the easiest dude to work with.
He is. He really is, man. Shout out to Naughty Cotto. Yeah, he very is.
He never gets mad. He pisses me off like that. Good
very
credit.
Laid back.
Yeah, it's very too much, man. I'm like, yo, dude, I'm hype. I'm hype. I get hype on the stage. I get hype and whatever. But he's not like that. He's just with the smooth operator. But the live broadcast, we're going on in the Copa. Boom. She comes downstairs. She says, listen, I don't want you playing any of that provocative merengue and no English music because I have the English room in the back now. And she tells Raul, and don't you bring any women on stage. And she walked away. I don't know this lady like that. Okay, we had just interacted once or twice. She left, and I told Raul, I said, "Who does this lady think she is? This is my show that we're doing here at the Copa. I'm going to do my show." And I said, "Raul, you bring the girls on stage if I play the provocative merengue and if I put on the English music?" He said, "Bet." Boom.
And
I
a
get
star
on,
was born.
and
Johnny Famolari.
I said, "Yeah." So I played all the English music. I played the provocative merengue, Ponte en Cuatro, anything that I could find that was dirty, throwing it live on the air. I didn't care. Crowd loved it. Raul gets on stage. Jesse Ramirez and a few people came to yell at me and tell me all kinds of shit. I spit in the face, and
Yeah. So you're in the DJ booth playing this.
yeah, and they came to tell
Curse
me
you
what
out
I'm
and
gonna do,
whatever.
but I'm not having it. I'm not having it. You can't. Julio Vergara came. I'm not having it. You're picking the wrong dude.
Yeah.
You're not gonna thug me. Are you crazy? I thug you.
Yeah.
Okay. So it got a little whatever.
Yeah.
I always
Confrontational, whatever.
yeah, and I'm not having it. You're
Yeah.
picking the wrong dude. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Everybody's tough till you flex on them.
That's true.
Everybody's got
Yeah.
that tough talk from the back. Now
Yeah.
come and tell me here. You here?
Yeah.
Come tell me right now.
Right.
Tell me right now. So it is what it is. I'm not a bully, never been a bully, not big enough to be a bully.
Yeah, but you won't take shit from anybody.
No, if I can't hit you, my mother taught me something when I was growing up. Si tú no puedes con la mano, búscate un palo y se lo siembra en la cabeza.
Yeah.
So that's been always stuck in my head. So I'm
Yeah. It's same with me, man.
I'm not having it.
I always been that skinny dude, man. So I was
not
taught
having
in the
it.
street, you gotta punch first. Like, and
Whatever.
I've gotten into fights where like dude's been like your size, bigger than me, like, and I'm like, well, I gotta hit him first because I gotta get at least one. He's probably gonna kick my ass, but I'm gonna get one punch in.
You can kick my ass, but be careful going home because I'm gonna run you over.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do whatever I got.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get
Yeah.
you one day. It's gonna happen. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna go out like that.
Crazy, man.
But like I said, that was what it was. So now Raul gets on stage. The DJ booth used to be right in. The stage was in front, right behind the stage. I could see you in the thing. Raul starts his little thing. I give him the look. I said, I brought to play the music. Where the girls?
I brought it, so you gotta bring it.
Where the girls? Like that. He brings the girls on. Make a long story short, after Raul gets off, they escorted us out the club, and that's what started the whole big thing.
Oh my God.
So now she didn't want me on air doing the live broadcast from the Copa. The Copa wanted to pay every week. I tell the guys at the station, as far as the general manager and the program director at that point, yo, guys, back me up. Back me up. I'm the one that started this thing. Back me up. Tell her no. It's his show. He's going to be there. They were like, oh, well, we're talking with her. We're trying to do it. They sold out for the money.
Okay.
Because now they said, you know what? We cut him out. We could charge more. We could do this. We could use that thing. I'm sure. I don't want to say the name of the promoter that was involved. They tried to get Polito to get involved in that. It was a whole big thing.
So now you're out of the live broadcast.
I'm out of the live broadcast. I'm still doing production. I'm still on air. They came to me in true story. This is what I'll say. Felix Cabrera was the promoter for Friday nights at the Copa. Felix came to me, and he said, Johnny, here you go. Here's $1,000. True story, $1,000. He counted it out, and he put it to me right there. He said, here's $1,000. Stay home on Fridays. You can keep that $1,000 every Friday.
This is Felix Cabrera, the same one who's producing the concerts,
Same
the stuff.
guy.
Okay.
And now, because I know him from before that, when he would come and do commercials before he blew up. When he was doing restaurants and little parties and stuff like that, I know him from before. He was like, here's $1,000, stay home every Friday.
And what was the purpose of that?
So that he can do the Copa, because there was money as a promoter to be made if you have the door at the Copa. Because now, and if you have the station going live, okay, you can get the artist for cheap. So now you can make a lot of money.
So he gave you he gave you the $1,000
He tried to
stay
give me
home.
the $1,000.
Try to give you $1,000 to stay home, so that you can still
So
allow
I can
the
forget about the Copa, let them do their thing in the Copa.
live broadcast.
Let them do the live broadcast.
Right.
They're going to do it with whoever. They're going to have Polito doing it. I think that they were at that point, I'm not sure if it was Alex, whoever it was that they were going to have to do it, because Alex was working at the Copa at that point.
But but Alex was not on Mega yet.
Not a Mega.
Okay, all right. So again, I want to cover Alex, but yeah, okay. So he was DJing there at the Copa, Alex already, or
I'm not sure. I think Baron.
There was another DJ there. Okay.
Yeah, there was other DJ. Whatever it was that they wanted to do, they wanted to give me $1,000 to stay home. I said, I got infuriated. $1,000, because you don't realize I worked so hard to get to that
To
position.
pitch the whole live broadcast
To
thing.
get the live broadcast, to get the second generation Latino to listen to me, to make it to number one, and not number one, I was always number two and number three behind Flex. Shout out to Flex, he held it down.
Yeah,
Hip
shout out to
hop was
Flex.
too strong.
I want to talk about Flex
His
too.
help was too
We're
strong.
going to talk about Flex in a minute.
But I worked too hard. They don't know the hours that I had to put in to learn the music, to learn how to be a DJ, to get people to respect me, just to get 500 in the club. Just to get 500, I had to do whatever I had to do because clubs were different. You know, as a promoter,
Yeah.
you didn't pay heavy DJ
Right.
back then. It was all groups that you had to pay.
Yeah, a lot of-
and
yeah,
an
yeah.
MC
Yeah.
that would bring the groups in. You had whoever it was play a few records. Now I had to convince you, I'm a show. I'm gonna come and put on a show. So it took a little while for that. So now he tries to buy me with that. I wasn't having it. It got ugly. I spit in his face.
You spit in Felix Cabrera's face?
A big face. I threw the money at him. It got ugly.
Okay.
That was the first. Now, once again, a couple of weeks passed because they were still doing the live broadcast. I'm fighting with these guys. Back me up. Fix this already, man. What the hell's wrong with you guys? That's my show. I brought this thing. I could have taken the money and relaxed.
Wait. Okay. So they still went through with the live broadcast.
They were
without
still
you.
doing the live broadcast because there's money to be made.
Okay.
There's money to be made. They're not going to say no to money, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I would have went through with the live broadcast either way. One thing happens in radio that jocks got to understand also, okay?
Even today.
Even today, of course, station's number one. You're replaceable. You're a tire on a car, okay? Even though we were personalities and you think you may be bigger, being that I built it, no matter what, radio is going to go on without you.
Yeah.
It's going to go on whether you're there or you're not. The next guy will step in. They'll feel bad that you're gone for a little while. The people will warm up to him, and you're yesterday's news.
Yeah. You know, one thing that Polito Vega, and when I had the pleasure of interchanging words with him, and there wasn't many opportunities. You know, it was a few opportunities where I got to talk to him. But one thing that I did remember that Polito said, he goes, "Nadie es más grande que el micrófono."
Yep.
He goes, when this mic turns off, right? No one's bigger than this mic.
That's right.
Eso se me quedó para siempre.
Yeah.
Nobody's bigger than the station, correct?
Yeah, nobody's bigger than the station. People think that, you know what, the station, listen, Mega went on, okay, and it kept on till today without the biggest name in radio, Luis Jimenez.
Yeah.
The most talented guy in radio, Luis Jimenez.
Yeah.
Mega kept going.
Yeah. Okay, so with that being said, Mega is, no one's bigger than the station.
That's right.
Did you at one point feel that you were bigger than the station?
Never, because I was with Luis Jimenez, but from Bonao, those guys were bigger than me. To me,
Yeah.
those guys were bigger than me. Did I have my pride and my swag in them, and you know, I am who I am? 100%. Because if you don't think you're number one in here, you're never going to be number one.
Yeah.
You have to think I'm number one. I'm the best. I'm the best, but I got to do the job to become the best. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. I've always said that.
Yeah.
So I would make sure that I'm prepared for this. I want to make sure that I practice, what I preach. I need to make sure that was something that was important. But how was I bigger than those guys?
Yeah.
Those guys were household names. Listen, we're doing this is when you realize how big you are, or how little you are. Puerto Rican Day Parade. You go all the way down from 44th Street or whatever it is down to 86th Street and whatever you make that turn. Back then, we didn't be smart and park the car around 86, walk back, and then when you get dropped off at 86, your car's right in your neighborhood. So now we have to walk back. Okay, this is when I realized who Polito Vega was. We're walking back, and I was with Janeiro and Ivan Chavez. Now, we were just in the parade. We were just in the float. We just went down. And we're trying to get across the street because remember, you can't cross Fifth Avenue. So we're on the opposite side of Fifth Avenue, but the station's in between 5th and 6th on the opposite side.
Yeah.
Little kid, maybe had to be 7 years old, with his mom and a family. And the little kid, Polito's passing by, because Polito will go on his own, whether it be in a car, whether it be whatever, he would do his own thing. He didn't go with the station on the station float. And the little kid goes to his mom, "Oh my God, did you see? That's Polito Vega. That's Polito Vega. That's Polito Vega." He kept saying that. And I was like, oh my God, this kid is a kid and he knows who Polito Vega is.
Yeah.
I want that.
Okay.
I want people to remember me.
Yeah.
I want them when they see me go, oh, that's the dude. That's the dude that did this. And it happened.
Yeah.
And it's embarrassing now that it happens. I'm going to tell you real quick.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Before you tell me that.
Okay.
So you left Mega, or
Right, I left Mega because we got into a big beef.
Yeah, so
They tried to buy me some more.
the Glee, Copa Propaganda, Raul
Right,
Acosta.
that was the root of it. That's
That was
what
the root of
happened.
it.
Now
And
they
then you kept fighting to get back on the or to
back
say,
on the broadcast.
back me up.
I don't care about the
When
broadcast.
did you exit?
I need them to defend me.
Defend you.
I need them to defend me. Stick up for me. I'm stuck up for you. I'm a company guy. If they told me
I'm
that
a
I
soldier.
had to, if you put me to not, you got to take care of this. I take care of it. You need this done. I take care of it. I'll get it done. I'm gonna get it done. So I figured you guys got to do the same for me.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm bringing you this money. It's not like I'm doing this. You're making money on my idea.
Correct.
Which is okay. That's fine. That's business.
I'm part of the team.
Yeah,
Right. So we're the same team.
Give me my props. Stick up for me, and I'll be good.
Back me up.
Right. So then they tried to buy me out. We were doing the club in New Jersey. Like we were doing now. This was a Saturday live broadcast. Not the club that was Fox's on Tunnelly. It was the other club that was there, whatever it is. General manager came in, pulled out a wad of cash. It had to be anywhere from 5 to 10,000. And he goes to me, here, take this. Don't worry about it. We're working on that. I said, well, I was so mad because now you're trying to buy me again. I took the money, ripped open his jacket, stuck the money in his jacket, ripped his shirt and the whole shit, zipped it up and told him, get the fuck out of here. I said, the next time you're going to pay me, you pay me in a check. Because I want the owner, Raul, to know who's making the money for the station. Because they think this is you guys doing the sales department. No, this was Johnny Famolari that brought this to the station. This was his idea that we're making money off of his sweat. I just wanted to get that recognition. I don't want the cash. He walked away, and Naughty's maybe been mad at me 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. So wait, so he gave you this money for what? Like it was
to shut up, to relax,
to not do the broadcast either.
Not do the broadcast. Let them keep working.
This is in Jersey now.
This was in Jersey.
So a totally different club.
It's totally different club.
Different promoter.
This was a Saturday. We're live at the club. So
but why though? Because
he wanted
there was
to
no
fix
incident.
What had happened.
So wait, there was no incident in Jersey. So why?
No, but we're live in a club. I mean, we're doing a live in a club in Jersey. He wants to get me to shut up about Fridays because I wasn't having it.
He wanted you to shut up about the Copa.
Because they're making money still at the Copa. Whoever they were all making money.
So got it. Okay. So it was like hush money. It was more like,
it was like,
okay,
relax,
shut up, yo. Let me. Here's this money.
Take this money.
Stop complaining.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not complaining. I don't care about the money.
Yeah.
I care about what I worked to achieve. That's my shit. And you want to take it from me? You think you're gonna buy me for that?
Yeah.
You ain't gonna buy me like that. I don't care about money. Money's not my motivator. Money's never been my motivator. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that I have. It doesn't motivate me to want to do things for the money. I do things for the respect. I do things for whatever it is that makes me feel good inside.
Okay.
And money doesn't make me feel good inside. It's not something, I see it as sometimes it creates more problems. So I put the money in his jacket, zipped up his jacket, don't get the fuck out of here and the whole thing. He walks away, Naughty looks at me and he goes, you dick, you're a fucking asshole. Sorry for these words. He goes, take the fucking money. What the fuck is wrong with you? He never gets mad at me. Yeah. Never been mad at me. This is the calmest guy that I've ever been around. There could be a fire. He'd be like, no, there's a fire, there's a fire. It's a fire. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, I'll be like, yo, come on, let's get out of here. Yeah, I'm coming. I'm good. That's his attitude.
Yeah.
He cursed at me and he got mad at me and the whole thing. And I tried to, calm him down and tell him, damn, Naughty, I worked too hard. You work too hard. We come too far to sell out for the money.
Yeah.
And if you ever ask me what's one of my regrets, that would probably be it because I would have taken the money.
Okay. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to ask you about the one word that seems to send. It's almost like you ever put oil in a water or vinegar in a pan. It's a big drop and the oil kind of spreads out.
Yeah.
This one word, very powerful in the radio industry, that seems to send. I asked this word to a person on a podcast that you were on.
I was there.
That he also works for SBS. I'll keep his name out of this, but he ran off the.
Whoa. You can't keep it. You can't.
Okay, I'll tell you who it was. I'll tell you who it was.
If we're going to say it, there's no disrespect because it's on a podcast. It's already, hey, there's no disrespect.
So
if I say something bad about somebody, I'm not disrespecting. I'm telling you the way it is.
Yeah, all right.
This is my opinion.
So in the pandemic, as you know, we did a
Right.
series of podcasts on Zoom.
I don't want to get you in trouble. Don't say that.
No. I'll say it. But because again, I'm not accusing him. I'm simply
Right.
just say I asked him that and he ran off. Right. So there was a gentleman that works for SBS. His name is Victor Roque. Right. And he was on the podcast that day, on the panel. And I said this word and he got off the screen. He said, I'm out. And he literally left. It's on YouTube. Anybody, if you want to look it up, it's up there. I mentioned the word payola.
Don't scare me.
Right. Because you didn't take the money, right?
That wasn't payola.
Okay, no. I know, because I know it just is. I'm looking at my notes and it leads me to that conversation because you're saying I never took the money. Money never reached my driver. So now, okay, that word payola.
Right.
It's a very powerful
100%. Federal offense.
taboo. It's a taboo subject. Okay, hey, let me reframe the question. Payola is a taboo subject in radio.
Yes, sir.
When you say this word around radio people, it's like kryptonite to Superman.
That's right.
One, why did you never took payola? Oh, did you take payola?
I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I was a saint. Johnny Famolari is no saint.
Okay, all right. You don't have to give details.
Okay, I'm going to say it the way it is. I'll tell you real quick. Was I a payolero? Because that's like a payola to the next level guy. Never. You know what? You want to hook me up? You hook me up. I don't have a menu over here that you could say, I want X amount of this, I want this, I want that.
Right.
No. I would rather, give me a record. Let me check it out. If it does well, I got you.
Okay.
I'll give you a case in point. I'll say it this one the way it is.
Yeah.
Okay. You want something that's popcorn real quick?
So all right. So before you get into that, to anybody who's watching,
okay.
Define in your best knowledge, what does payola mean?
Payola means that you're taking money under the table to play a record. And what happens is if you're taking over $150 or whatever it is, the cap amount, it's a federal offense.
Okay.
Station could lose its license.
So it's illegal for any radio person or media
to take money
to play a record on the air.
To promote it, because number one, it's not taxed.
Okay.
Now they have pay for play, which is legal because it's above the table. They're still doing the same thing, but now the money's above the table.
Okay.
It's not under the table.
Okay.
So everything is being taxed. The bottom line is you're not paying taxes on it, so it's a federal offense. FCC violation, station could lose its license. You could go to jail for it. There's all kinds of things that can happen because of it. Back then, you needed to have a license to be on air. They could take your license away. I had an operator's license. I still have it to this day.
Yeah.
I keep it as a recuerdo.
Okay, so that because that was such a illegal thing to do.
Right.
And again, I from the outside, I'm thinking that this artist is getting played because the artist is talented or popular, or you picked this record out or whatever. So it seems to be a common practice. For
me, it was like that.
Yeah,
For me, it was
about the talent. And I personally can vouch for that because I've had a few projects that I brought to you, right? And you never asked me, hey, you're gonna have to. You say, I'll play it. I like it. Like one of the things that people should know or do know, and if they don't know, they should find out that from personal experience, I brought you the RNS stuff.
That's right.
I think I brought you a couple of bachata stuff that I was doing. You never came to me and said, hey, you gotta give me X amount of dollars to play this record. You would say, you were honest. You say, I'm not feeling it. But I got you.
I got you.
Yeah.
Or make me a drop.
Yeah.
Make me something that I could play with, that I can have.
Yeah.
Give me the acapella. Give me the pieces.
Give me something.
Give me something.
Work with something.
Right.
Yeah.
This way I can pick it up a notch. That was just my mentality.
So why do you think, besides obviously taking the money, that payola or to people, jocks and talent in radio, not just in any station, in particular any station around the country, why do you, besides of taking the money, why do you think they engage in such practice? Like, is it a lucrative thing or is it a power thing? Why do?
It was a money thing.
It's a money thing. People just want to get rich off of that and say,
100%.
hey, you artist A, you're going to get famous as I play this record on the radio.
Of course.
So now you got to put money in my pocket.
Back then, being on air, especially in New York, you had a record that was on air, you were going to get played by everybody because everybody was following New York. Everybody was following Mega in New York. Your radio was on Mega. Everyone across the nation followed. Okay. We're talking about as far as Boston, as far as Philly, as far as Florida, as far as everywhere. Everybody knew Mega was the number one station, the catalyst for all music. You played on Mega, you were the man. Now also you had BDS. Every spin was worth X amount of spins. In New York,
BDS, explain BDS for someone
the
who doesn't.
BDS is what they do. It was a point system. It's a point system that puts you in the ratings more or less as far as how, where you fall on the charts. So a spin in New York would be worth in one spin, let's say in Louis' show in the morning, because it goes on your cume. It goes on how many people by the population, or it goes by how many people are listening. So those spins would accumulate points. Those points then are tallied at the end of the week or the end of the month. You see where you fall on the charts. Because remember, they would have a BDS chart and you would see who was where. So a spin in New York was worth a lot more than a spin in Mud Flats, Tennessee.
Right.
Wherever it was. So spins in New York were important.
Okay.
So that they would want to make sure they got their BDS, points up.
Okay.
There was nothing better, and I'm going to say this is not good, but I'm going to say it the way it is. When Shakira, Enrique Iglesias, Ricky Martin, they were all battling for number one, those were great times for all the jocks in New York.
Okay.
And in every market.
Why is that? Why?
Because they all wanted to be number one. How are you going to be number one with BDS spins? Okay?
Okay.
So it was important for them to get played in New York. Now, they would, and it's...
So what does that mean? That means that there was a lot of money being exchanged?
100%, because there's promotional money for you to become number one, because there's sales and money. That was when there was a lot of record sales, the prestige of saying you're number one all came with it. That budget
Billboard,
was coming.
was Billboard a factor in that?
Everything was a factor in that. Everything was a factor. So it was important for you to get the spins so that you could become number one, so that this way you can either generate the money by sales, you can generate the money by shows, whatever it is, because you're the number one artist. So when they were battling it out, that was the craziest time.
Yeah.
Now they would tell you, and I'm going to say it the way it is, Johnny, I'll just give you for instance. Are you going to play Enrique? Yeah, I'm going to play him on my show. All right, then do me a favor. Can you play Ricky Martin twice? I'm just giving you a for instance. Not that this happened.
Yeah.
Is hypothetical situation.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So then they would be like, can you play him twice? I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to play him twice. Can you not play Enrique? No, that's not going to happen. I have to play Enrique. I'm going to play Enrique for whatever reason, whatever. Okay. Then they will call me up. Hey, I heard you're playing Ricky Martin twice. You're going to play Enrique twice? Well, I don't know if I have enough time, because the time thing, whatever. Listen, I'll make it happen. Make it happen. I got you. What do you do?
Right.
Because it was important for New York. It was important for them to get the spins. And I know these guys for years. These are my friends. I remember when they first started slinging radio, records, working as an assistant. Now they're the promoters.
Yeah.
So they come to me, and you know what? And I've said this before. Back then, if you liked hamburgers, they would stuff your face with hamburgers till you were blue in the face to get you to play their stuff.
Yeah.
If you like women, you were going to have 1,000 women. If you were Diddy, you're going to have 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
All right. So okay.
Whatever you wanted.
So all right. So do you regret not making payola money or not engaging in the practice more than what you should have, or like?
Yes, I do.
You do regret that.
I'll tell you why. And I'll say it with one word. And this is the word that's the strongest for me. Family. I wasn't thinking of my family, because the only ones that were going to reap from that benefit was my family.
Yeah.
I'm not a bling guy. You can see I don't wear bling. I'm not walking.
Yeah.
They know me. You see me the way I am.
Yeah.
I've never been the guy that has the flashy thing. Do I like to have my good food at a good restaurant? 100%. But that's not me. So I didn't do it, and I think my family could have been so much better. My family was okay. I had a great, mother, my kids. Some of the regrets that I have in this business, one of them is definitely family, because
explain that.
You take that time away from your family, okay, that they deserve. Now, could we have had, the things that maybe we had if I didn't do that work? No, I had to do the work.
Yeah.
Family paid for it. Did I try to juggle it as far as coaching or as far as whatever I can do to be there for them? But it's hard when you're working at the station, DJing in the clubs, doing the production on top of it, doing studio work, whatever I had to do, I was getting it done. So your family suffers a little bit. If I had a chance to do it again, I would definitely do it different.
So would you consider that's one of your biggest regrets of your career, was that you didn't spend enough time with your family?
That's one of them. One of them.
What is your, like, when someone asks you, like, when you look back on your entire career, what is the biggest regret?
Well, family is definitely one of them, because you lose For me, there was nothing better than sitting down, and I look back, and that's what makes me feel warm. When we would sit down at 6 o'clock, and the mother of my kids would make dinner, and we would all sit at the table together, and like one of my son or my daughter would say grace, and then we would eat together as a family. That's
Yeah.
that to
And you know what's funny, dude? You know what's funny
it
that
bothers me because
yeah.
she was good.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and if anybody, watches this and whatever and knows her, the mother of my kids, she was a good woman. I regret not being the man that I should have been and the father maybe that I
Yeah.
should have been, because I've had great women that I've been next to.
Yeah.
A lot of great women, and they've all been great. Have I been the greatest? Probably not.
Yeah.
Because of work and stuff like. Not that I am a jerk, a little bit of a jerk, but not like that because.
Well, that's. I think the jerk is more subjective than objective, right? I think some people, look at.
It's all without malice.
Yeah,
as far as
I think that the term jerk is more subjective because, again, perception is reality, right? So sometimes what you put out there is first perception, right? But back to the family thing, right? The family thing, I am 100% in agreement with you. There's no argument there. I just want to add to that what you said, because I went through the same process, as I was working my way through the ranks, DJing and promoting, and I'm getting in these clubs, and now I am escalating the ranks, and I am becoming Fiesta Caliente and Friqueado and Jersey nightlife and all this stuff. I have 2 daughters, right, myself, with a woman who I wasn't married to, but we were in a relationship for about 12 years.
Say, if you had 2 daughters with a man, I really don't know you like I thought I knew
exactly,
you.
Exactly. So, so when I spoke to Rafi Mercado, shout out to Rafi Mercado, when I spoke to him, I also shared that with him, and I said, I have 2 daughters from a previous relationship. I have a son now, but I have 2 daughters from a previous relationship that I owe them that, right?
You're guilty.
So I'm not sitting here just asking you, well, how does that make you feel? No, I know how that feels.
It's not,
you know what I mean? It's not easy.
And I had really good kids.
Yeah, it's not easy, man. You know what I mean? Like, and it's funny because I spoke to my younger daughter the other day, and I said to her, I think I sent her a clip, the one that Ralphie and I spoke, and I sent her that very same clip. It says, I missed softball games, I missed volleyball games, I missed certain things, right? Because I'm in the pursuit of this, because I wanted them to be good financially. But sometimes when we chase the finances and the numbers, right? We like, well, I want to make money so they could be good. But you're forgetting one thing, bro. You were not present.
100%.
And that is more valuable than the money. And I always, again, I'm owning this. I always threw money at, oh, well, okay, what do you guys need new clothes or new sneakers? But the one and most important thing that they needed that I didn't give, or I gave it very little, was my time.
Yeah.
So
money comes and goes.
Yeah, money comes and goes, and money.
But
listen,
time
you can never get back.
Gone, you can never get
right,
back.
And time. Listen, and money's great. Money makes us comfortable. Money makes us feel that we can acquire things, and that's beautiful, bro. That's beautiful. But looking back at it now, I'm with you. I'm like, if I would have just been balanced a little more, but I was so hungry and like, I'm taking this all. I'm gonna become number one. I'm gonna be whatever. That ¿cómo te digo? I deprived my children out of that opportunity. So, which is now, I'm still young. I have a 7-year-old son now, and I'm very, I left nightlife, not because of my son was born, not because my wife said leave it or none of that stuff. It was more that I'm like, I wanted to remove myself from this environment so I can detox out of it, right? It's like a drug addict that you have to put them in rehab. So I had to leave nightlife to rehab myself because I was so consumed, right? Where it was taking my time. So when my son was born, I'm like, I can't repeat this cycle. Now, do I dabble back in nightlife and I go do an event and I go do things and I do things like this podcast and whatever? Cool. But with one thing in mind, that I am going to always balance that time out and be present for my family and be present for them. You know what I mean?
I see what you're doing. It's a great thing when you're able to watch them grow.
Yeah.
Because I remember one day I came in and I took a look at my son. I think he was about 13 at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap.
He's already grown.
He's my size.
Yeah.
He's taking my shirts.
This is the firefighter, right?
Yeah. He's taking my sneakers. Yeah. He's using my stuff. Yeah. Like stuff that I used to say when he was little, I can't wait to the day that he whatever. Yeah. But now he's taking my jerseys out of my closet that I had no idea.
Yeah,
but when I turn around,
he's already a big yeah. So so again, I sometimes, and I have these conversations with other people as well in private, and I say, this is something that I obviously have to live with, and I can't turn. There's nothing, no amount of money that I can come up with will bring that back. You know what I mean? So the only thing I can fix is moving forward. Right? You know what I mean? So like I said, and the reason I ask you that and I share that is because sometimes we get so consumed in this stuff, and man, this is all this stuff and all this, there's this fanfare, all this fame, and all, bro, this is all temporary, bro. This is all temporary. At the end of the day, and I'll ask you the next question because I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I just want to tell you that I know exactly how you feel. This is not an interview where it'd be like, so yeah, oh wow, yeah, that sucks. No, dude, I lived it just maybe not as much as you, or not in the same playing field, but I lived it, and I can share.
In the business, now I'll tell you the one regret that I do have, that's picking other people or fighting for other people, and picking up, jumping in and trying to help other people. I had to pick and choose my battles correctly. Yeah. And that's something that I didn't do before. I would fight for the little guy, fight for everybody.
But that's always been who you are, though.
But you know what? That's good because it shows character. But that's not good because people take that as he's confrontational. No, I'm sticking up for what's right. And if it's not my fight, why am I getting involved in it? And I would get involved in other people's fights, which caused me more trouble than it gave me good. And that's something. But come on, let's go. Let's get to the good.
So you were so you left. So then, when did you exit the building? Like, I'm not clear. Like, when did you actually exit the building the first time at Mega?
First time at Mega, what happens is that they went that week that after I had put the money in the guy's jacket and the whole shit. They came to me, Felix Cabrera. I had warned them, don't put the commercial on the Copa on the air. Jesus Salas, who was one of the most astute guys in radio at that point, I spoke to him. He was in Miami. He said, we're working on it, Johnny. The general manager, Carrie Davis, says, we're working on it, Johnny. I told him, don't put the commercial on the air. It's been 6 weeks already. Stick up for me, man. This is enough is enough. I had it. Wasn't having it. I think it was the 5th week. I wasn't having it.
So when you say don't put the commercial on the air, what does that mean?
Because they would play the commercial for the Copa. I used to make the commercials. So now they wanted me to make the commercial. I'm not making the commercial for the Copa. I'm not doing it. They made the commercial downstairs. They try to use Polito. So when I hear the commercial on the air, I take the commercial. I went upstairs because they played it after I had finished the mix at 12. My studio is on the 4th floor, station's on the 5th floor. I hear the commercial. I'm fuming. I ran upstairs. I took the commercial. I broke it. Because it would be on a floppy disk. Broke the floppy disk, threw it in the garbage, the whole shit. Word goes downstairs. They bring another commercial. They make a copy and they bring it up. They put it on. I hear that commercial on the air. When I had broken it, I went downstairs. I told Felix Cabrera off. I spit in his face again. I'm not proud of that.
What was the spitting in the face thing?
Because if I punch you in the face, I'm gonna beat the crap out of you. So you know what? I spit in your face. You hit me. Now we could fight. Now I can hit you. It's a bad habit that I have, and that's a big disrespect that you do. And I regret it. That was a little childish like that. But if I punch you, I'm an abuser because he was little.
Right.
But if I spit in your face and you come and hit me, now I'm defending myself after you hit me.
Okay.
All right. Stupid way to process.
So you left the building.
I apologized to him, and we became really good friends after, and he treated me with respect after. A lot of these guys realized they were wrong at that point.
Okay.
But at that moment, they didn't want to say they were wrong.
Of course. They were ego.
They knew they were wrong. They knew what was going because I was a good guy. I wasn't a bad guy. Yeah. I was not one of the
well, you were a passionate guy about
but I was always
what
there
you were doing.
For them. Whatever they needed. They needed me to stay late and cut a spot. Got you. Okay. You need me to do this for you? Got you. No questions asked. No money involved. I got you. Okay. So then I get mad. Commercial goes up on the air again. I'm livid. Now I'm going to go down and beat the shit out of everybody downstairs. Everybody that was downstairs was going to get it. That was my mentality. They grabbed me. They said, Johnny, Ivan Chavez and the guy, my God, what's his name? The guy that used to clean. They said, Johnny, don't do it. Let's go smoke a blunt on the roof. Come on, let's go smoke. Back then I used to smoke weed. That was about it. I wasn't a big drinker. I used to smoke. I said, you know what? They convinced me. We go up and smoke. So I'm smoking on the roof because I had to calm down. I was upset, really upset. I warned them, don't do this to me. Don't do that commercial. Don't play that. Stick up. Let's fight for me, man. I'm fight for you with everything. Fight for me, man. Fight for me. We're smoking on the roof, and Carrie Davis comes out, the GM. He goes, "What are you guys doing over here?" So when I told him we were on the roof, so now he goes to the roof. I'm standing there with Yvonne. I'm standing there with, oh my God, I forgot his name. That's a shame. And it'll come to me in a minute.
Okay.
And he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm smoking a joint so I don't kill somebody." That was it. I blew smoke in his face. He went downstairs. They called me downstairs. They wanted to suspend me. You can't suspend me, first of all. You got to send me to drug rehab. You can't fire me. With the drugs that were going on in that building, are you kidding me? You guys got to be, you ridiculous. I'm smoking weed. Half the shit that was going on in there was above and beyond anything. And I don't want to bring that up. That's not a good thing, whatever. I'm not a rat. I'm not going to sit here and rat everybody out. But damn, I was like, yo, you're going to, because of weed, because I'm smoking a joint, or it was a blunt really on the roof, because I didn't want to kill somebody over money, payola, plugola, drugs and everything that's going on there. You want to come at me?
So what did he do? He wanted to suspend you.
They said, "Listen, we're going to have to suspend you. We're going to fire Yvonne. We're going to fire the other guy." I said, "You can't fire him, man. You can't fire them. They were there protecting me. They stopped me from going down. We don't care, Johnny. You're up here. They're down here. They're gone." Now I feel guilty. I got these two guys' jobs on my shoulders, so I leave. I'm suspended.
So you accepted suspension?
I'm suspended. I'm suspended. So I go home. Frankie Ruiz dies. So now they have to make a decision amongst them. Do we bring Johnny back or do we not? Because Boy from Bonao and Luis Jimenez are telling him, "Are you guys kidding me? Because of weed, whatever." And Luis threw some weed on the table. "Fire me. Suspend me." We went to bat for me. The jocks went to bat for me.
Shout out to Luis Jimenez.
Yes, Luis Jimenez. Shout out to him. That's the most talented guy, period. And I'll say it to the day I die. I have not met one that's more talented than him. The day I do, I'll be like, "Yo, Louis, you're number 2." Because they used to shit on me. They used to say I was nothing. The Baron Lopez was the best. Pablo Flores was doing remixes for Gloria Estefan, and I was doing the Happy Band remix. So they got on me. Yeah. Baron Lopez was the king. He does 7 turntables, makes a capurria and a coffee at the same time. You're nothing. So those guys that, they would tell me those things, but these guys went to bat for me. So then Frankie Ruiz dies. Norty could go and do everything. Norty would play the show that Friday, that Saturday. He would go to this thing. I'd give him the mixes. Norty would play him. But Norty didn't really talk on the air because he was by himself.
How long was the suspension for?
I was suspended for about a week. The suspension was going to keep going. So Frankie Ruiz dies. So I said, you know what? Norty was doing a 12 o'clock thing. I said, let me go and DJ live because Frankie's dead. Let me do a special Frankie tribute. Okay? So I went to the building. I'll never forget it. Rosanna, who was my friend for many, many years.
The receptionist, yep.
Yeah, tells me, Julio Delgado said, you can't come in the building. I said, they're going to tell me I can't come in the building? What is that? Now, remember, I'm still doing commercials. I'm still also the production director. So now they had Henry Saconeta, was a good friend of mine. Coco, who was doing the production. Josie, who I brought those guys in.
Those are my guys, man.
I brought them all in. Yeah. I gave them all the opportunity. They all became as my assistants. I got them. They didn't know how to do anything like that. I brought them all in to help me.
Yeah, shout out to Josie. I still owe Josie a Moet.
Big time, Todd. That's the original. Not the original.
Yeah, I mean, I have an inside thing. Like,
that's the second Sancocho.
Yeah, of course, Sancocho. Yeah,
so the first Sancocho was Luis Teneo and Secreto, and then they had Josie and Friends Boogie became the second one. Was Norty.
Josie's very talented, by the way.
100%. You know how Josie came in? I'll tell you real quick. Josie used to call the station. Okay, he would make a jingle for Luis Jimenez. He made a jingle for him, just calling up the station. So I asked him to make a jingle for me. We have a commercial, a promotion going on for Lever soap. Okay, Lever's doing this big thing in the seaport. So you got to make a jingle for Lever. He made the jingle for Lever. They would do every week. They would do or every day, a finals thing or whatever it was. So you got the last few, and they had to go battle it out in the seaport to see who wins the trip to California, the whole big thing. So Josie and Friends Boogie when they went on the stage, they showed up in towels with shower caps, loofahs, and the whole shit to do the jingle for whatever. So they won. We became friends since then. I realized that he had talent. He made me a jingle. He ended up being Sancocho with Naughty. And to this day, that's my boy. But any record that they had, anything that he had, I would support him, 100%.
Cool. All right.
Always.
So now you're gone. You're gone from you're wait, I'm
Well, I
sorry.
didn't leave yet.
You're suspended.
I'm suspended. They didn't let me on the
Okay.
air.
When was your employment terminated from Mega?
I wasn't
Exactly.
terminated. I quit.
So you quit. So
I was
you quit
because I went to the door and they told me I couldn't
you
get
couldn't
in.
come in. Okay.
I was so mad. So that I knew that Caliente had just come out. That was, at that point, 105.9. I was so mad. I had already met the general manager that I wanted to fight with all of them. It was a whole big thing that
En Caliente.
we had that in Jimmy's Bronx Cafe, that they did something to Louis. Louis called me. I was going to fight them all. And they realized that I have passion for the station. I was sticking up for the station and Louis. So I went over to whatever. I called up David Martinez at the time and I said, listen, how much you got? You got Naughty with me, and you got me on your team. He saw what I had already done at Jimmy's, how I stuck up for the station, how my name was good. He said, come on over, let's talk. I went over there. I sat with him and I spoke. Boy at that point and Louis were having problems at Mega because they were defending me. I didn't want them. Boy said he was going to walk out. That wasn't fair what they were doing to me. It was a whole big thing. I wanted all of that to just go away. I wanted my guys to be good. I said, so you know what? I'm just going to take the money.
You were the sacrificial lamb.
Oh yeah, I'm going to go to Caliente. I'll be the first one to jump ship. Do you guys don't fight no more? I don't want you guys to get in trouble.
I don't want to be the reason why you guys are.
It's not gonna. I had Ivan Chavez and what's his name? I forgot. I had that on my.
It's a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah, I had that on my shoulder. I had that on my conscience. Those guys went bad for me, and they lost their jobs because they wanted me to try to stick up for me or try to keep me from doing something stupid. I didn't want that to happen to Boy. I didn't want that to happen to Louis. I didn't want them to fight anymore.
Okay.
I wanted to be over with already. I just wanted to go forward.
So you're at Caliente now. So
I went to Caliente.
And what was your tenure there? How long were you there?
We were there for about 3 months.
3 months. So what happened there?
A guy thought I was boning his woman. Let's go next.
Espérate, loco. Wait a minute. So
the GM thought I was boning his woman. I'll say it the way his side piece.
Working at
his
Caliente, that is known today as X96 FM and Univision, right?
Yeah, he was. That was an HBC station at the time. That was 105.9. He, David Martinez, thought that I was hitting his side piece, that he was hitting. I don't care. I'll say it the way.
So you were the.
You want to call me a rat on that one? I'll rat you. I lost my. You fired me on Christmas Eve. Okay, so you know what? Whatever I say, I hope your wife is watching this and she understands that you was cheating on her with the promotions girl.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Man, should I drop a flex bomb
because
here?
I had to go home and explain to my children and my wife how I lost my job and I didn't know what I did.
Yeah, and you weren't boning his woman.
No.
Okay.
No,
right.
no. I wish I would have. I should have.
So then you're fired from there. So Mega you left. Then you're fired.
Naughty and I.
Both.
It was a package deal.
Oh, so Naughty was a collateral damage.
Yeah, for Naughty, always Owen. He never does nothing. I'm always the one that
he was collateral damage. Okay.
Yeah,
okay, got it.
Yeah.
So you're gone. So now what happens next? Where do you now you can't go back to Mega and you're fired from Caliente.
Right. Al Fuentes called me up and said, "You want to come over and help me in Boston and be my assistant?"
I remember that.
So then I said, "You know what, Al? Let's do it."
That is around the time that you and I met, right? When you were in Boston.
Right. That was 2000.
2000, right?
That was 2000. I went to Boston at the end of '99. I went over there in January, if I'm not mistaken. I went into Boston, and then I'm now his assistant.
Yeah.
And that's why I learned how to become a program director. I learned a lot about radio.
Yes, I remember. I remember
a different aspect because remember before I'm a jock. I'm a DJ. I'm on this side of the thing. Now I'm learning about sales.
You're learning the business of radio.
I'm learning that from one of the greatest minds.
Yeah.
From one of the greatest minds.
Yeah.
His, and may he also rest in peace. Everybody we know, the good ones all dead.
Yeah.
Listen, I already realized God doesn't want me and neither does the devil. They're both like, just leave him there. He'll be all right. Here he goes. The devil's ready to take me. And I walk some little old lady across the street. I go, he ruined it. Leave him down there.
Yeah.
And then God is like, he's going to come up here. He's going to want to smoke weed. He's going to want to do a lot of things. He's going to cause some trouble. Leave him down there.
Yeah.
So they left me down here. But Al, he had an execution problem.
Al Fuentes.
Yeah, Al Fuentes.
He was in Boston at the time.
The greatest mind. And remember, now you have Rafael Grullon. Rafael wasn't there. You had Jerry Villagres. You had, Alfredo Alonso was running all the Mega Communications. Now Al is the PD. Okay, now Al brings me as his assistant. With Al, it was an execution thing. But you know what? He put that in my hands. He said, you know what? He had 1,000 ideas, throwing ideas everywhere. He'd be like, okay, I got an idea for this bottle. Make it happen. And he'd give me the idea, and I'd be like, yo, that's a crazy idea.
Yeah. Which is, listen, and for all purposes, that's not a bad team arrangement, because right. So if some people are good at generating ideas, and others are good at executing the idea.
Right. So now he threw that in my hand, get it done now. I'm like, oh, I got to get this done. Now I had the privilege of working at Mega, which is a big market. We did the first live broadcast. We did all these first promotions. We did all these firsts. So I know the inner workings of how to do it in a large scale. Now, Boston's a small market. That's like Queens. That's my mentality. This is like Queens. Man, I can handle this borough.
Yeah.
So now,
from a supermarket to a bodega.
Right. So
no pun intended.
Yeah. And it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And Boston was a phenomenal market with a lot of Hispanics, which and I appreciate my tenure in Boston because I learned what it was to make a lot with a little.
Yeah.
Mega, you have, and we started with nothing at Mega. When it was FM 98, the build up to where it became Mega. Now everything is handed to us. Before we had to, fight for everything. I go to Boston, now I got to fight for everything. I got their station, my competition, that's been in Boston for whatever X amount of years, that has a chokehold on everything. I went in there and I wasn't having it. I came with that New York mentality. You know what? We're going to run this.
Yeah, we're going to gutter out the walls, and we're going to do all the electrical from the beginning.
Yeah, they had chokehold on everything, the clubs, the this, the that, everything. And I was like, no, it's not going to happen like that. Now I come as Al's assistant. So Al is giving me all these things on my lap, and I'm making them happen. It got to the point, but I miss my family. I miss my kids. It was a lot to travel, going back and forth. The money to me was all right, but I missed my kids. I missed the family. I could be a lot of things, but I missed that family life.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that family life. I enjoyed bringing home the big tree at Christmas and putting up the tree and everything. I think that's a
takeaway from all this too, man.
My father passed away when I was young. My mom did a great job with 5 of us. She did the best that she could. I give her so much credit. But I wanted to be different. I wanted to make, I liked it.
Yeah.
You'd watch it on TV and you wanted to be the Bradys, whatever it was that you were watching on TV. I liked that. So I came back and then the opportunity came for me to go back to Boston after they got rid of Al to be the boss. Rafael Grullon said, you want to become the program director? I'll give you the opportunity. I will mentor you. And I said, this is my shot.
This is 2000, right?
This was 2000, close to the end of 2000. It was 2000, right? It was 2000, mid 2000.
Yeah, because I met you in person. I've been listening to you for a long time, and I've been, I also one of those people that used to call the station. Hey, where did you? I remember one time. I have a vague memory. I was working a night job. I remember this was right now. I was working a night job in Jersey City. I was a computer operator, but my love and my passion for music was always, right. So since I was a child, and I hear you play a mix, and I forget the mix. I think it was algo está quemando, llama al bombero, está quemando.
Right.
So I call the station, and you pick up the phone, or you or Naughty, somebody, and you could hear the background. Like it wasn't like a phone. It was like Mega, hello, you hear it, right?
Live on the air, but put it live on the air.
So I'm like, hey, where did you get that record from? He goes, at a record shop like anybody else. Where else? Boom, he hang up on me. I'm like, "Y este tipo, mano." He just hung up on me. So what was the whole thing with you hanging up on people?
That happened by accident. It became like a hip thing. People are gluttons for punishment. Well, I'm live on the air. This is how it started. Okay, by the way, I used to be the one that would hang out with the people, and I would always blame Naughty. Because
Sure.
I had to. The mic was on that side, but the phone was on this side as far as he could take the calls, but I had the hang up button. I had the panel. He had the physical phone.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the same. The panel was where we would do the stuff as far as put you on live. was Saturday night, be about 1 o'clock in the morning. We go live on the air because I'm the first guy that started taking calls live on the air. You couldn't take calls live on the air. Everything had to be pre-recorded. I couldn't because we would have some mixes on quarter inch. We would have some mixes here. So we started taking calls live. That's how it started, taking the calls live.
Yeah.
So I would always do it live. And there was nothing better, I thought, than if you're driving your car, wherever you are at home, and the DJ puts you on live on the air, and you're in your house, what better feeling? If they pre-record you and you gotta listen to it, it's good, it's nice, but they're gonna edit you, they're gonna do whatever. This is live, raw dog. You're live on the air. Lower your radio because you had the feedback. If it's on, lower your radio in the car, whatever. That feeling that those people have at that point. So we try to get as many people as we can on the air.
Yeah.
Because that's giving them that feeling that they like to hear themselves, the shout out for their family.
Yeah, it feels good. I'm not gonna lie. It feels good to hear something on the radio.
Until they hang up on you.
Yeah, but exactly.
I take a live call and the guy was drunk and he goes, Johnny, tú sabes si mañana hay alternate side of the street parking?
He's asking about parking?
But my mentality is you call in my house. This is my house. That's my house. Okay? Now you're calling my house to tell me something stupid about alternate side that tomorrow's Sunday? There is no alternate side on a Sunday. Everybody knows that lives in New York. So you're calling me to ask me this stupidity because you're drunk? So I hung up on him.
And then not only did you hang up, you hear the dial tone sound.
That was the beauty. Listen, I miss the people that tell me, and this is the truth. They'll ask me, "What do you miss?" You know, I guess we're Gen X. That's where I fall into.
Yeah.
They'll ask me, "What do you miss the most?" I say, rotary phone, where I could take somebody and say, "You know what? Vete pa'l carajo," and they will hear that.
I do miss that too.
You can't do it with a regular one. You do it with your cell phone. It's just dead. There's no thing. You'll see that the picture will go away, but there was that feeling of. And you slam the phone. That was a great feeling. So we started hanging up like that. Then people would call up and we did Cántalo tú. Tú me lo canta, yo te lo toco.
And it became a thing.
Right. So you used to sing the song. Now people would sing. They would call up and say, yeah, Johnny, can you play that song? It goes, beep, pop, pop. Give me something else. You know, what song is that?
Claro,
no, that's all I know. What the hell? Hey, hang up. Go find a song and call me back and I'll play it for you. Well, hang up.
It was that sarcasm, which is, for radio, it was so out of the box because no one was expecting that, number one.
They told me,
like, you got room in your closet? Yeah, then hang this up. I'm like, pero este tipo está loco, este tipo se volvió loco.
Everything you can imagine, they will come to me as far as the other jocks. They'd be like, yo, that's so disrespectful. You're not supposed to do that. No, man, it's my house. They're calling me in my house.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the lines are all lit up. People want to get hung up on. I'll never forget one of the best nights that I did on radio. And I've told this story many a time. One of the nights that I had the most people call me ever. I'm doing now Nordy and I had to do my own thing for a while. So I'm doing La Esquina. I got to work that night. I'm having problems.
On what station was that?
That was at Mega. That was in 2006, 2005.
Okay.
So I'm having a bad day. My mother, my kids, and I are fighting. There's all kinds of crap going on. I'm not feeling it. I don't want to be in here today. The thing is, when you do radio, you always have to have the smile. The way you speak, you portray whatever you're going to say, you speak with a smile. This way, it sounds like you're happy. Everybody's happy. I got to smile. I'm not smiling today. Yeah. I'm not feeling it.
Like Dominicans say, tú no andas en gente.
En nada. Yo no quería nada. Yo no quería maybe estar en romo ese día. Hierba y romo.
Pero feo.
Pero feo. So I get there and I go on air and I said, you know what, guys? No me llamen hoy. ¿Qué me importa si es tu cumpleaños? No me estén llamando, no me piden canciones. No estoy de humor hoy. I'm not having it. Why? You can have a bad day at work, but I can't?
Right.
You can have an attitude, but I can't? No. I got a bad day today, man. So I went on there like that. And the calls lit up. Pero Johnny, no te pongas así. Yo no te dije que no me llamara. Bang, I hang up on him.
God.
Johnny, por favor, mira, tengo la abuela mía que está de cumpleaños, está aquí al lado mío. So mándale saludo tú mismo. You're right next to her. What the hell are you calling me for? Bang, I would hang up. And that whole night, I've never had the phone so lit. It's like when we were giving away $10,000. Phones are lit all night long.
Of course.
All night long, the phones were lit for people with me to hang up on them. So I obliged. And you can't do it every day, but I enjoyed it.
It became a trend.
It became at that point, and we had started hanging up on people in the 90s. This was now I'm by myself. Now I got to do everything on my own. I got to take the calls live. I got to do the whole thing. But I felt so family with everybody just calling me to be hung up on.
Yeah.
And
And those were good years,
and
man.
they brought a smile to my face, but I was happy. Well, I really went to work. I was not feeling it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear. Listen, there's nothing worse than having a fight with your lady or having your. I got a bunch of ex-wives and the whole shit and whatever. They leave you, and you got to play some Mark Anthony on the air, or you got to play some bachata on the air. Not good.
Yeah.
Not good. Yeah. I didn't cry many a time in the cabina because I didn't want people to laugh at me and things like that. But it's rough.
Yeah.
It's a rough one. And I'm going to just say one thing real quick. Going back to Payola. It's going back to Payola. I want the record to be straight on something real quick. Aventura, Romeo, a lot of respect for him. A lot of respect for Mark Anthony. They've always treated me with that respect, always mentioned me when they're talking about whatever, as far as the first time and stuff. I give them a lot of credit. I'm just going to tell you about Aventura. They can say whatever, anybody can say that whatever they want that they played him first. Johnny and Famolari played him first. And I'll tell you why I played him. True story. Okay, I'm going to say it the way it is. I was working in Boston. I'm running the station. So this had to be in between 2000, before 2001, maybe somewhere in that area. I get a call from Gloria, promoter. She said, Johnny, I got this new record from a group called Aventura. It's called Cuando Volverás. Can you pass by my house and pick it up? She lived on 10th Avenue. And she'll corroborate my story for me. I'll say it the way it is. I said, you know what? I'm going to go out with my kids and my wife for dinner. Okay, because I had come back to New York and I had to drive back, and I would come back on the weekends, do the clubs, and then drive back on Monday morning back to Boston. And I said, yeah, okay, not a problem. I passed by because Gloria was really good people. She worked for J&M, but she also did independent labels and stuff. I went to her house. Mm-hmm. She said, Toma, Johnny. She gave me the thing. She said, do me a favor. There's something in there so you can have dinner with your family. Whether you play it or not, I don't care. Have dinner for your family with your kids and whatever in the envelope. She gave me the envelope. Envelope had a couple of bucks in it. I went out to dinner with my family with that envelope. I'm not going to lie. Okay. Say it the way it is. All right. I take that record. I went to Boston Monday morning. I gave it to my boy Baron. That Baron was the Darwin.
Not Maron Lopez.
No, but Baron that's now running a station in Boston. That he was one of my assistants. I had him and Miguel were my two assistants because I had 3 stations over there. I had Mega, Amor, plus we had Lawrence and Lowell that were running. We had Mega 1150 and 1400 in Lawrence and Lowell. So we were simulcasting, throughout the whole thing. Plus I had the Amor station. So I tell Baron, check this record out, Cuando Volverá. When I was driving up, I heard it. And they wanted the Spanglish version. They weren't too sure if the Spanish version or the Spanglish version. I was listening to it and I said, it's all right. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't say that this is a smash. I said, it's all right. Not bad. I'm going to put it on because Gloria had hooked me up. Now, Gloria I didn't have to play it, but I was going to play it no matter what. Okay, no matter what, because Gloria's my friend. She didn't have to put that in there.
Right. You wanted to support the record, and you would have done it regardless.
Easily, because she knows she can count on me for that.
Yeah.
She can all count on me. All the promoters knew they could count on me to get those spins. Whether the record was good, whether the record was bad, whether the record was this, we're going to test it. Okay. And if it works out, record, put it on air when we get there. Comes to the weekend, and the next week, I asked Baron, how's that record doing? Because we put it in light rotation, but it's playing at certain times. So I think it was maybe 4 times a day, 3 times a day, whatever it was. Usually a new record, you get 2 times a day. Mm-hmm. I put it up to like 3, 4. And he says, record's doing really well. People like that record. Mm-hmm. They're calling for it. I said, okay, let's pick it up. Let's put it up a notch. Right. So then I put it in Radio Musica when they were charting. I did the whole thing, and that was the beginning of Aventura for me.
Got it.
Now, later on, when they came out with Obsesión, I can remember how that blew up too. That blew up, but they had already established with Cuando Volverás. Nobody was playing the other cuts that were on either album. Yeah. Because I think that was their second album.
Shout out to Aventura.
But they would always remember me, and
yeah, of course.
I got so much respect for Romeo that he has no idea because
Shout out to Romeo Santos.
It hurt me, and I'm going to say this, and maybe it'll take us a little off topic. He just did his listening party in the garden, okay? He put that promotion in the hands of a station. That station should have had that place The man sold out MetLife Arena. The man sold out Yankee Stadium. How many
Yes.
times in a row? You can have the Garden packed. You
All right,
couldn't
so
have that
wanna-
shit where people were.
I have on my notes.
Give me that promotion.
Yeah.
You're a promoter. I would have had that place where
Yeah.
people were fighting in the front to get in. That was the only damn ticket in town because that man deserves it.
Yeah, for
That
sure,
man
for
deserves
sure,
it
for
and
sure.
has the fan base.
Yeah, and
has the
I
fan
do
base.
want to ask a
That's an
question.
embarrassment. I'm embarrassed for them. I'm sorry, Romeo, if I'm saying this like this. And Prince Royce, who's another phenomenal artist.
Yeah.
I would be livid if I was them. You should have had this place packed to the rafters.
Yeah.
Okay?
So
Period.
I want to talk about that. We're going to talk about that station in a
See how I
second.
got upset?
You got to. I know.
got the
And it's
passion.
great.
I'm so
Listen,
mad.
I think it's great, right? So I want to go back a little bit,
Okay.
because you did go to Boston, and
Yeah.
who was your successor at Mega when you went? Well, you're
Baron.
Baron
They put
Lopez.
Baron in at Mega when I left in '99, and then in I was gonna play, and this is a true story, and I'm pretty sure that Kid Mangu could tell you this. Kid Mangu tells me
Who's Kid Mangu?
Kid Mangu was the jock that was at Caliente that was going up against Boy. Now what we would do was when I went to go to Caliente, Boy and I used to do the midday mix together at Mega. Now I'm with Kid Mangu going against him.
Right.
So I would call him up because now it's around Christmas time and shit like that. I'd be like, Boy, I'm gonna play your record, but listen, I'm gonna say something about you. And I would say something about him and shit on him. And then he would be like, oh yeah? Listen to it, I'm gonna shit on you now. And he would shit on me back. But you know what? That's my brother.
Of course.
When we finished, we were hugging and we were like, yo, I got you. You know, when we're playing baseball, you're batting, you better get off the plate because I'm gonna hit you with the ball.
Yeah.
But you know what? When the game is over,
we're gonna go hug it out. Yeah. All right.
There's no animosity.
So I wanna touch on the subject of Alex Sensation.
That's what I'm gonna tell you real quick. Kid Mangu tells me because I started bringing. Remember, my thing was always to bring guest DJs. I would love to bring guest DJs on to give them an opportunity, give them a chance to show their stuff. Okay, less work for me, an opportunity for other guys to be able to get that shine. For me, I don't care. I already got the spotlight.
Yeah.
I'm good. You know what?
Yeah.
Let me bring you in and share the spotlight with me. Let you get a little taste of this. You're gonna see how it feels, and you're gonna remember me for the rest of your life. Okay, you're gonna remember something that I did, some action that I did, whether it be in a club, whether it be on air. You're gonna remember me for the rest of your life. That's impact. Okay, that's impact, that people remember you and you did something for them with nothing in return. Because I would get nothing in return. I don't want anything in return. You know what I wanted? Maybe. Hey, do me a favor, you coming by, pick me up a coffee on the corner? Maybe. And you know what? Here's the money for it when you get there. Because I'm not looking for nobody to pay my way.
Yeah.
Now I tell Kid Mangu comes to me, yo, there's this kid that's working in drama. I think he was working in drama at that time.
Foxes, I
I
think.
think it was drama. I think it was in
Was
drama.
it drama?
I think it was Saturdays that Kid Mangu was doing Saturdays in drama. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
And he tells me, there's this kid called Alex Sensation. I got his, going to bring a mix for you to play. I said, no problem. Bring it. So he was already going to bring me the mix in the chamber. I'm sure that kid will tell you that. He was already in the chamber. I was going to throw him on air on my show. Okay, because Baron was doing Mega already.
Right.
Baron, for whatever reason, couldn't make things happen. And he ousted. And that's when Alex got in with Through Boy.
Okay, so all right, because we don't have a lot of time, right? And I have two more questions that are probably going to blow up this podcast.
Not a problem. I could talk for days.
Yeah.
That's the worst part. I told you, 10 slaps to shut me up.
So
And we haven't even reached past the good shit.
I know. Alex Sensation today is considered one of the top DJs, Latin DJs in the country,
100%.
if not some parts of the world, right? He is
100%.
considered a brand. He is a
100%.
Okay.
He's earned it. He's earned it.
When Alex started rising in popularity and you're seeing that this person is holding your position now, right, that you used to have, how did that impact you? How did that make you feel? Was there any type of jealousy that you had towards
Never.
Alex Sensation?
Not on my part. Never. I'm not jealous of the next man. You know what? If you're doing better than me, if you're, okay, it comes from a sports thing.
Or from a technical standpoint, like
from a sports,
he can't mix better than me. He doesn't hang up on
it's
people,
like
because Alex. One thing about Alex, right? And I actually spoke about
Let's
Alex.
just say he Milli Vanilli did at the beginning a lot.
Yeah. So again, and I will say
It's
about
all right.
Alex, right?
It's
Alex
all right.
is a professional, and I've
100%,
spoken to Alex.
100%.
I said, Alex, I want to have this conversation with us, and I want to bring Alex's true person, right? I don't want the mega. I don't want that Alex.
Right.
I want the Alex
Him.
that I speak to on the phone, right?
Yeah.
So when I ask you that, it's more of a technical, not really personal, right? And say, if I say, man, like you,
Okay.
you see, because sometimes we feel some type of way, like, oh, like,
There's
did you feel threatened? Did you feel
never.
insecure?
You know what? I'll show you my phone. I text him the other day when the ratings came out and said, "Yo, damn job, you're killing it."
But take yourself back.
I'm fine. I'm fine because you know what? I got my avenue there. You know what? I left there. I left Mega. They didn't throw me out. I left. Okay, I went to Caliente. They threw me out. Was I mad at Juano and whoever they brought in? No. That's the general manager's job. You know what? I'm still gonna get mine. It's called like playing sports. You know what? They put that guy there. I'm gonna beat him.
Yeah.
And you know what? If they put us head to head, I'm gonna beat him. That's my mentality. Give me a shot though, to be blacklisted because they blacklisted me for the longest, and I don't really care. So I got like why did they blacklist me? Because I'll tell you the way it is, and there's fear of that. There's fear of somebody that's gonna tell you what it is, and to fight with the money that you're making on the side, not the money for the station, because I'll always make money for the station.
Yeah.
That will be my number one priority is put money in the station. This way you could pay my salary.
Okay. That being said, right? I see
No animosity.
your social media all the time. You're taking a lot of shots at X96, right?
100%.
Your ratings suck, right?
100%.
So, and I also troll them too, full transparency, right? I say that my Instagram engagement has more than theirs. And it does, right?
100%. I tell you that all the time. They should latch on to you.
Right? So
when you got 200 and some odd thousand, whatever it is that they have followers, and you got 12 likes, there's a problem.
And somebody wrote me, somebody from their, I don't know who runs their social media, but somebody wrote me and said, we should hire you because you have a lot more rating. Anyway.
Because that was the joke.
Yeah, it was a joke. So my question to you is, because again, I am not a radio person. I am a radio listener. Yes, I maybe understand the inner workings of the business of radio, but I'm not in the waters like you are. You are deep in the waters, right?
I studied radio. I studied numbers. I studied the.
Yes, that is your world. When I want to find out,
I've been out of it for so long.
Yeah, when I want to find an advertiser, if I'm an advertiser now I'm an advertiser on radio. I want to find out things. I call you, Johnny. Is that station doing well? And you'll tell me, no, it's not doing well. And when I call you for their Orlando stuff, I say that's what you're like, no. So now you know this game. Yes, and I'm going to ask you direct. I'm not even going to go around it.
I'll come at it real
quick.
Who
should be fired? Who should be fired at X96?
You want names or you want me to keep it in general?
It's up to you, brother.
I'm going to say they should fire the whole damn staff. They got to revamp that. They got to revamp that station. That station has a 2.0 right now, 12 plus.
2.0. Explain that. What's a 2.0? Explain 2.0.
Like number 17 in the market. And if you break it down into day parts, 18 to 34, 18 to 49, 25, 54, they're always in the 13, 14, 15 range. Mega is always in the top. Alex right now is doing very well. When it comes to just regular numbers, radio numbers, and streaming numbers, he's doing really well. Basilong is doing really well. X, that's a $4.8 billion company is Univision. And you cannot compete with a station in New York, or you cannot have something compatible. You're dealing with Amor, more or less. Amor has more than you. The new station, okay? The new station, I'll pull it out. I'll pull the numbers out. They don't realize, I'll put the numbers in your grill. That new station, La Exitosa, okay? That came out brand new, zero promotion.
Shouts to Chris Preda, by the way.
Zero promotion, zero marketing, okay? Zero. Is tied with them in certain day parts and stuff like that. Or is an embarrassment. You got a $4.8 billion company and you haven't been able to get things up. Where does this come from? And now, I used to always blame management. Now I blame some of the jocks. You want to know why? Because I'll tell you why. When we were having a problem at Mega, okay, we were having a problem with Jesus Salas. What do? We called a meeting with the jocks, with Raul Aracon. I called the meeting. I'm the one that did it. I'm the one that went to his secretary and told her we need to have a meeting. All the jocks came together. Jesus Salas flew down from Miami and we shit on him. And we told him exactly what was going on with the station, why we needed to compete, what we needed to be done. And then things got done.
Yeah.
Because he realized there's strength in numbers. So let the jocks get together. You guys are going to be out of a job one day.
All right.
You think that they're going to say, oh, you know what? I'll say it how it is. Fire the general manager. Fire whoever is in charge of programming. Fire everybody that's there. Promotions does a good job. They're trying their best, but they can only deal with what you got. If definition of madness when you keep doing the same thing expecting a new result. Dropping the ball on Romeo, and they were celebrating from what I heard. You're celebrating what? That the place was not packed? That should have been packed to the rafters. Look at the videos. People had to come down in order to fill up the bottom. That's Romeo Santos. That's Prince Royce. Two of the biggest names in the industry.
Yeah.
And you cannot pack that. I would have packed that where they would have people in the street fighting to get in. Okay. Every promotion that they do, right now they have the next thing coming up in a few days. Those in privados are good because they're money makers for them. What good is it though if you have no ratings? If you had ratings to go with the money that's coming in via sales, can you imagine how strong that'd be? How can the people that are sitting on top, the big bosses over there at Univision, not look at this and say, my
What's
God,
going on?
we got since 1998 and we have not been able to beat Mega. We have since 98, we haven't even been able to come close. Yes, it was more like 2000 or whatever when Univision took over. But you've had over 20 years and you can't compete with them when I got my pockets are deeper than yours?
Yeah. Okay. Now, with that answer, that was a great answer, by the way. Thank you.
Now I'm pissed off. Now. I get
All right,
so mad.
we're almost wrapping this up. And if Johnny Famolari was giving an opportunity to return to radio, would you return, and in what capacity would you return?
It depends. It depends. Because some people say radio is dead. Radio is not dead. The entertainment factor is dead. It's still, no matter what, a very big source of free, entertainment. There's no entertainment value there. Now I got to fight with all these apps. I got to fight with all this stuff because now I got to put commercials in my programming. If I'm going to run, I'm tired. I'm old already. I don't know if I want to get back in the game and compete with the young because I'm building my TikTok platform. I'm doing all kinds of stuff because I enjoy it. You know what better feeling? And I'll show you a live right now. I went the other day to some guy's live. I've been going on DJ's lives with the algorithm, and the guy tells me when I walk in, they're not sure of who I am. Because I don't go in there and say, hey, it's me, Johnny Famolari, the Hispanic that goes Hispanic, el asesino latino, loco que nos toca todo un poco, the king of swing, and now with my man Friquiao doing his podcast is where I'm doing my thing. That's right, it's me, Johnny Famolari. Yeah. I don't tell them that.
Yeah.
I just see my name, but my name stands out. And they'll be like, holy shit, there's a legend.
Yeah.
This guy's a legend. And that to me is crazy.
It's priceless.
Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. So now I want to run the show. Give me a chance to run the show, but you're going to have to let me run the show. You're going to have to sit back and trust me and say, you know what? Well, you got it. Go ahead. Do what you got to do. Yeah. And then I'm going to clean house. I'm going to clean house. I have to.
And that's a great segue to wrap this up, right? And before we wrap it up, I said something about you in another podcast with Super Mario. Shout out to Super Mario. I'm sure he's going to watch this. He's from El Sol 97.
Very good, very nice guy. And he said, he said some.
And I said,
when they say nice things,
and I said that Johnny Famolari is a DJ that you're a DJ's DJ, and I'm sure you probably heard that before. You are a DJ's DJ. You are someone that I myself, when I wanted to get into the DJ game, looked up to and saw what you were doing, and I wanted to mimic that. And the very first day, I'll say it again to your face, when I met you, it was at Club Exit.
Never forget it.
I'll never forget it either. And that was the beginning of this beautiful friendship. And I was DJing there. I was opening up with Reggaeton de New York, right?
First reggaeton.
Shout out to Luis Jimenez, and I maintained that.
Shout out to Luis Jimenez. Shout out to Chichi.
Mario.
Yeah. Shout out to Ramoncito Diaz.
Right.
Those are the guys that did the first reggaeton. The first
reggaeton. And a quick interjection. I said my version of who I thought was the person that introduced reggaeton from the underground into New York at Club Exit that day. And I said it was Luis Jimenez.
Yep.
And I maintained that.
Yep.
Apparently, DJ Cream and Casanova took that personal, right?
They weren't even on air yet.
Right. So they took that personal.
They weren't even on air.
They took that on some
and they can say whatever they want because we had the first show in Boston called Mega Melaza. I did that with Mauricio and Darwin. Yeah. Remember, Looney Tunes were from Massachusetts. They would come over into the show. I would tell them, you know what? Take all those records. You had to edit them because they had all bad words in them. Did they bring a different feel to it? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did Cream and Casanova do the intros on this stuff? 100%.
And they listen, and
do I respect them?
absolutely. Listen, I used to get all my reggaeton stuff from DJ Kermit Casanova.
Yeah, but let's be honest, they weren't.
Right.
The first show was done with these guys.
And I shared that to Super Mario, and I said, as far as I remember, because I was there, right? I didn't hear. No, I was there. I remember Luis Jimenez, Ramoncito Diaz, all calling and saying, hey, Friqueado, whatever. And then I remember once we did that first show, they wanted to keep going, and Louis wanted a radio show, and all this stuff started to now produce itself, right? And then Hochi Rodriguez, shout out to Hochi Rodriguez, then came and told Ramoncito and Louis and said, hey, there's 2 DJs up in Springfield, Massachusetts who are rocking with this stuff. We got to bring them onto this stuff. And that's when they brought them down from Springfield, and again, I know DJ Cream feels some type of way about it because I reached out to him the other day. Right, cool, whatever. And I know they felt both some type of way because the minute I put that clip out, they put their clip of a throwback. Oh, I'm so glad that the reggaeton, we were able to do this. Great, you guys did all that. No one's taking that away from you.
No,
right? No one. But you have to give credit where credit is due.
100%.
And you have to understand who was the person that made that phone call to you and say, hey, come to New York, right? In La Perrera. La Perrera was a van that used to drive, a white van that Casanova used to drive all the way down to do the radio show in Caliente. How do I know that? Because I was there, right? So anyway.
But I want to even bring it back one quick step further. Back a couple of years before that, Norberto de la Rosa, I'll tell you that, he was a promoter. Who used to play Playero on the air? Johnny Famolari.
Yeah.
No one played Playero. They didn't even think about playing that stuff. Who played bachata back in the day? Johnny Famolari. Do they sit there and say, oh, that's the first dude that played Playero. That's the first guy to do this.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, no, and again, the only reason I bring that up is because,
what those guys want is that feeling of, or the giving them the credit. You got the credit, dude.
You got the credit, but also understand that there were a few people that were doing the groundwork behind the scenes so that you can have that platform. And I remember when they came to Univision, Caliente or Latino Mix, I forgot what the station's name was at the time, and I remember them doing that nice show. I remember everything. So I was there. So anyway, I
have their mixes that they give.
Yeah, again, no shade, and no, this is not to disrespect.
Like I said, I'm hoping that everybody, all those DJs, that their mixes that I have, I hope you all die.
Yeah.
All right, this way I can make a lot of money off of all you guys saying.
Yeah.
I'll make like memorial stuff and things like that out of the money. I'll make sure your family has some. I'll take care of you guys. You guys can all die, okay?
Yeah. So anyway,
God bless them all.
So for wrapping this up again, and I wanted to clear that up real quick because, again, I'm sure they're going to see this again and contradict and like DJ Cream, DJ Cream,
what can they come?
Well, what DJ Cream writes on my comment under the clip is still there. I want to fact check this, and that's when I tag Hochi.
Check it. You want me to send you the flyer?
So I tag Hochi. I said, Hochi, check this out, right? So anyway, I met you at Exit, and I was the opening DJ for you, Alex, and all these guys, and it was such a great opportunity, for Willie and I, that we were out of Jersey. We were these 2 green new DJs, but we were hungry.
Willie didn't play, just you played that night.
I think it was just me.
It was just you.
So I get there and I see this line around the block. Exit.
Crazy.
I'm like, yo. And this was our first big gig, como quien dice, right?
4,000 and change.
Yeah, and I see this thing. I see this sea of people, and then and then all of a sudden you come in the building. Again, I'm the skinny dude, and you come in with your signature hat like you have on right now, and
it could be the same hat.
And I'm like, oh snap! Like in the flesh, like oh shit, like right. So then I'm like, all right, bro, listen, bro, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm like,
you were nervous.
I was super nervous, and I didn't know how to handle that environment. But you provided.
It's overwhelming. You walk in, DJ booth is on the second floor. You're overlooking
a sea of people.
It's packed.
Yeah.
Packed to the rafters.
Yeah.
And now you got to perform.
Yeah.
And now it's not that easy.
I'm no longer.
Early in the night.
I'm no longer in Don Miguel's in Newark. I am now at Club Exit in Midtown Manhattan, New York City. And again, and a guy that I looked up to walks up behind me like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like
I remember I put my arm around you.
It's on it. No diddy, right?
No diddy. You were standing there. You had on I think it was a light blue football jersey.
I had a jersey. I think I had a jersey or something.
Light blue foot, because I got a great memory.
Yes.
I still can't remember that dude's name, but I owed him that. So I see you standing there, and you were nervous. You could just tell when people are nervous.
Yeah.
You had the football jersey. I put my arm around you, and you said you were nervous. I said, "Yo, dude, relax, man.
Have a drink. Go.
Yeah,
Go.
And I even told you, and I don't think you remember, but I told you, just make believe everybody's in their underwear.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
You're at home in your underwear. Because a lot of the mixes I would make, I was at home in my underwear.
Yeah.
And I would just start mixing and things like that and thinking of all kinds of ideas and stuff, and I would practice that way. I just think you're at home.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, and that was a very pivotal moment for me.
early.
And, again, so I wanted to thank you personally again for that moment, because I think
putting my arm around you.
No, I don't know. So
I do it again.
Yeah. So and it's funny because I try to, and this is how we'll leave it now. Because I know DJ, we gotta go. DJ's like this. God, I'm tired.
Yeah. The best part is when we were waiting for you, I was talking to him. He was like, "I wish Freaky would get here because he won't shut up, man. He just won't shut up."
So any in the state of DJs in nightlife and radio, any words of advice for new DJs that can take your advice, because you have a whole world of experience and it's very valuable.
I'll give it to him. I don't mind giving it for free.
Wrap it up in like 60 seconds or less.
Real easy. We all have the same picture. The music is the picture. Everybody has the same music. Not like before that only you get exclusives. Everybody has the same music with a frame, okay? You see this picture? If you put it in a nice frame, picture pops out more. We are the frame. Make the frame entertaining. Go out there and entertain, guys. Okay, you know what? Do it in any way you can, whether it be you're playing with the music, whatever suits you. Be you, entertain the people that are there. Give them an experience. They're going to the club for an experience. They're going to a party for an experience. They're listening on the radio, they're listening on a podcast, they're listening, wherever they're listening. Give them a reason to listen. Make it entertaining. Make them want to listen to you. And that's what I tried to do. Make people want to listen to what I was going to do, what I was going to say. That's the best advice that I can give them. Be you. Be the best you can be. Practice your craft. Know your music. Be creative. You have so much technology with AI right now. I wish that I was in the game right now.
Just tell me about
full
it.
blast, because I'd be flipping it.
Yeah.
I would flip it. I wouldn't, every chef, they can tell you, okay, yeah, this is how you make eggs. I'm going to take those eggs and I'm going to give it my twist. And I'm going to make those the best eggs that I could ever make. Of course, I'm still going to use the basic recipe of that they're in the eggs, but I'm going to put my twist on it. Become a chef. Make that plate, if you just throw it on a plate, but I'm going to put it nice on the plate. Put that little swoosh on it. Now I could charge a little bit more for it. That's what you have to do. Best advice. Entertain, guys.
Last question.
Go ahead.
Past or present,
Okay.
your top 5 DJs.
Wow. In period?
Period.
Ooh, because they go way back.
Top 5.
If I gotta go present, I'm gonna give you 2 that from here that I could just think of off the top of my head, because you can go way back to Molly Mall. I can go back like that at Red Alert. Those guys threw down. I like Camilo for his creativity. I like Camilo because he did something different. I got to watch Camilo grow from the bottom up. Okay, a lot of these guys.
DJ Camilo.
Yeah, DJ Camilo. A lot of these guys came in for whatever reason. And I had this conversation with Camilo. I respect him because I remember I was there when we would do Casablanca. He would show up late and play the last set of hip hop before we close out the night. I watched him grow and I've seen him grow. And not only that, he's a business thing. He also brought something different. The verbal skills, that was him. Flex, of course, I have to respect him. I got to respect him.
Is he included in your top 5?
Definitely, I have to include.
Okay.
My top 5 will be a little bit bigger.
Okay.
It's a little bit bigger.
All right.
I got to give Alex his props. In the Latin market, he did something that I left the bar here. He took it here. He became the picture, not the frame. The big difference. He's part of the picture.
That's a good way of
he's part of the picture.
That.
They don't go when they used to go to the club to when I'm DJing or wherever I'm going. They're dancing. When Alex is on there, they're recording him. He's a show. He's a show. I give him so much credit for what he's accomplished. Okay, my only gripe is I wish he would have brought more people with him. That's just me. You know, I would have liked to.
When you say that more people would, like put other people on, or
as an army. And you know what? Because now I got all these DJs that came up through me that I gave them their opportunity, and maybe they're doing what they're doing. Like Rick, I'll tell you that I gave him a chance. I threw his father on the air. All these guys like that.
Okay, so you gave me three DJs so far. You gave me Camilo, Flex, Alex. You need two more.
I gotta go with Red Alert. Red Alert because I grew up with Red Alert.
Yeah,
I grew up listening to
Shots
that.
of Red Alert.
I grew up with that, and I took like the drop. I put my daughter on. I did a lot of things listening to those guys like that back then, and put drops and stuff. That I could listen to them and try to find my own. There's a tough one. I got to pick one more.
One more.
I would pick my partner, Noricado. Because I trust him.
Yeah.
I trust him. I know he's going to play whatever he's got to play. That's my brother. Now, do I think he's better than me?
We'll save that for another conversation.
When it comes to the house thing, that's your house.
Yeah.
When it comes to the other thing, we got to beg to differ. Do I think that any of those guys are better than me in Spanish? Now, you got Baron Lopez. How can I forget about it? It's too many.
It's too many.
It's too many.
Yeah.
Do I think that?
To be honest with you, to ask you that is an unfair question. But I needed to put you on the spot.
Now, here we'll say, when it comes to the Latin music, do I think any of them are better than me? We can close on that one.
Yeah, let's go on that one. And I want to personally thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, my brother.
And this is, we're gonna hang this up, and this is more of a documenting of and we missed a lot of stuff, but this is more the documenting of your story. And I wanted to give both of ourselves the opportunity to do this. So
no, it's my pleasure. There's so many more things that we can talk about another day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure that this guy wants to go. Now I got to buy you dinner.
Yes.
And it'd be my pleasure. We're going to go out to Coquito Blue.
Yes.
We're going to go represent for Adam, Henry, and Jose.
Yeah.
We're there for you guys. I'll buy the food. You guys give us the free liquor. We're good. We're good.
The great Johnny Famolari.
That's it.
Make sure to subscribe, and please help us out to grow this channel, because we are growing this podcast, and we're gonna have more interesting guests, not just in music, not just in radio and DJing, but we're gonna have a lot of life experts sharing their journey. So be sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching.
¡Arriba la bulla! El Rocky está encendido, señoras y señores. Primera transmisión en vivo de Mega 97.9 desde la 10ª Avenida y la 18 calle. Esto está caliente.
Johnny Famolari y Nori Cotto, el sinvergüenza y el capo. Las mega mezclas.
And cut.
Acapela.